UCLA taking on Miami from the Orange Bowl. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin. It is a bonus Saturday of college football here on ESPN. And personally, the thing that pleases me most is after this weekend, we will have closure on the BCS for this year. It has been frustrating. It also has been complicated to a point where fans and coaches and players really have not totally understood what it would take to get to the big event. But we all know what the scenarios are. At this time tomorrow, we still could have 3 teams that are undefeated, and of course, only 2 can go to Tempe to play for the championship. Here in this ball game, supposedly, if UCLA wins, they are going to be in the championship game. But nothing is certain in this year of college football. I can tell you, John Junker, chairman of the bowl, is in attendance this afternoon. Also, one other note about the BCS. We do finish tomorrow with 3 teams that are undefeated. Only 2 can go. 1 stays at home, and if Ohio State is passed over, I would suggest to you that the BCS has run a major red light in its very first year. I think we'll be a step closer to getting a real playoff in college football. This game was scheduled back in September. In fact, UCLA, they were on the team buses headed to the airport. They got a call and said, go back home. Hurricane George is slapping the south of Florida. We can't play the game. So for those who question whether UCLA might be ready or not, I remind you, they prepared that week. It's been 2 weeks since they played SC. Bob Toledo said they are focused. They know what is at the end of the rainbow. And for Butch Davis and his Hurricanes, well, pride. They want to prove to everybody they're not the same team that stunk up Syracuse Carrier Dome just last week. So it's the Bruins of UCLA and the Miami Hurricanes coming up. Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten are standing by. Right now, let's go down to the end zone and check once again with Chris Fowler. Chris?
Ron, thank you, and greetings from the east end zone of the Orange Bowl. Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit join me. Ron laid out so many of the storylines.
Look at those numbers. But Mike Gottfried, I also would suggest to you, when you look at their game footage and you see this team in person, the supporting cast ain't too bad either.
No, it's not, Ron. And Cade McNown's had a great year, and his #1 target is Danny Farmer, a former walk-on, the wide receiver who's averaging 99.7 pass receiving yards. Ron, he's got great jumping ability. You put the ball up for grabs, he's going to come down with it.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, for UCLA, they are 55th in the nation in scoring defense. Can you make it to the championship game, and can you win a championship 55th in scoring defense, Mike?
Well, ordinarily I'd say no, but this defense comes up with big plays at big times. They've caused 33 turnovers, 27 fumbles, and they've recovered 21. So this is a defense that makes plays at the opportune time.
On the other side of the field, Miami, realistically, they got embarrassed last week up at Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Can they realistically have a shot here this afternoon?
I think they can, Ron, but it depends on which team shows up. The one that got embarrassed last week or the one that got beat by Florida State by 12 points. If they run the football with Edgerrin James and they control the football and keep the defense on the other side, or keep the offense on the other side off the field, they can do well. The other matchup is the front 4 of Miami, especially Derek Ham versus Chris Harris, the big tackle from UCLA. They've got to use their quickness, and they've got to be able to slow down the run and put pressure on Cade McNown.
Butch Davis, the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, 4th season here. He was an assistant coach from 1984 through 1988 before taking over. Miami won the toss, and they defer. So UCLA, as you look at Bob Toledo, boy, 20 straight wins. First 13 games, he was 5-8. And, of course, last year they dropped their first couple, and they haven't looked back since. They are trying to accomplish something that has never been accomplished at UCLA, and that is go 11-0. 80 degrees, humidity 69%, Chamber of Commerce kind of day. You can see the wind is gusting out of the south at about 15 miles an hour. Rocks is back deep, and keep an eye on number 33 because he is a heart and game breaker. Kick is going to go 3 yards deep, and they will not return it. Let's check it on the sideline with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, thanks very much. You know, the memory of last week's loss to Syracuse, the worst for the Hurricanes since 1940, honestly still weighs very heavy on the minds of the Hurricane defensive unit. By their own admission, they have not yet put that game behind them, and that's why the first 3 defensive series for Miami are going to be very key. By then, we're going to know what they're made of and how well they're going to play. They need to keep UCLA from long sustained drives and help out the offense by field position. To use Bill Miller's words, defense coordinator, I am scared to death, Ron.
Well, that's what this team from UCLA can do to you. They go with a draw play on first down, and Jermaine Lewis will take it for very short yardage on the left side. So it gives us an opportunity to look at the Home Depot starting lineups for UCLA on offense. McNown, Jermaine Lewis, who just carried, and the fullback is Darrell Price. The receivers, I think they're really good ones, particularly Farmer. We'll see a lot of him today. Up front with the offensive line, it all starts with the big guy, Ferris, over on the left side. He is 6'9", 315, a junior out of Mission Viejo, California. Running plays, going to go for 4, maybe 5 yards straight up the middle. It's Dan Morgan, number 44, a sophomore out of Coral Springs, California, who will make the tackle. Here's the defense for the Bruins. The down 4 for Miami is Ham. Lewis Sweeney at Hip City, a big game out of Ham today. Dan Morgan, who just made the tackle, with Chevin Marshall, who starts in the place of Nate Webster today, and Michael Smith. And in the secondary, it is Nick Ward replacing Leonard Myers, Fitzgerald Al Blades, and Edward Reed. Third down. Line to make is the 30. First pass, got it complete. Paulie Dixon, the sophomore from Tucson, tackled by Nick Ward. And with that kind of cushion, that route's going to be there all day long.
And Ron, Leonard Myers is supposed to be the starting corner today, but he's bummed up, and Nick Ward is going to take his spot. Now, Brian Paulie Dixon, who's 6'5", has a great height advantage over the 5'9" Nick Ward, but that's a matchup that I expect them to go right after Nick Ward this entire football game and put Danny Farmer on him.
Into the ball game, number 26, the outstanding freshman tailback, Deshaun Foster. Mike Grieve, I should say, the senior from San Jose, the tight end that jumped offside. Our referee is John Smith Jr. today.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
There's a look at Leonard Myers on the sideline, the sophomore. 22 tackles, 2 interceptions for him. You know how badly they say that he might play, but they didn't want a chance starting him.
No, I think he's going to be sorely missed.
McNown sets in the pocket, good protection, swings it out in the flat, and that's Foster. And Foster going to be hit and bumped out of bounds immediately by Nick Ward.
Good pressure by Derek Ham, and now that's the matchup inside that Miami has to win. Derek Ham has to beat Chris Ferris most of the time this afternoon to stop the passing game of Cade McNown, not give him time to set up and throw.
Mike, can they get it done with 4? Are they going to have to? How much is Bill Miller going to have to?
I think they're going to have to bring some linebackers and some safety blitz.
Second down at about 11. McNown zings it complete, and this is Neufeld. The second of 3 tight ends we will see today. Michael Smith makes the tackle. It's a gain of 10, and not quite enough for the UCLA first down.
Ron, all this is a tight end option play down the field. Ryan Neufeld's going to work inside the linebacker, number 41, Chevin Marshall. If Chevin Marshall works outside, he works inside. He works inside, Neufeld goes outside, and that's what he did on that play.
Third down and short. McNown 3 of 3 for 22 yards. Option play. That's Foster. Gets 1 block, will have the first down, and was bumped out of bounds by Dan Morgan. And that was Darrell Price, who was out front leading the way with the block.
And you don't expect a lot of option out of UCLA, but they have run some this year, and Cade McNown comes down the line of scrimmage, kicks it out to Foster, but you're right. Darrell Price made the block on the outside that really set up the first down.
Bill Miller, the defensive coordinator, said one of the things that is so difficult about UCLA, he said they do so many different things. Every running play, for instance, has a boot or a screen off their run action stuff. Straight in the pocket this time, and they set the screen, and this is Foster looking for a block, and is going to be tackled at the 44 by Michael Smith. That's a good effort by Smith as his headgear came off as well.
And Nick Ward also in on the play. He read screen right off the bat and came up and made the play with Michael Smith. But again, UCLA throwing the screen early. You talked about screens, delays. All that's set up to do, Ron, is slow down Derek Ham and the rest of that front four of Miami's.
This is the 8th play of the drive, and they are just now over midfield. And the Bruins don't care. They use the entire first quarter, mixing it with run and with pass. Here comes the blitz right up the middle. Foster got ahead of steam, and he is inside the 40 down to close to the 36-yard line. That's going to be enough for a Bruin first down. Marquise Fitzgerald defensively.
Well, Deshaun Foster, Bob Toledo's real high on him. He was talking to both of us last night. He said he's an NFL-type runner, averaged 5.6 yards per carry. He's caught 10 passes. Great vision for the young tailback.
Mikey also mentioned when you take a look at the youngster out of Santa Ana, I asked him, I said, yeah, he is so good, but you don't start him. And you know this better than anybody. Coming from the coaching ranks, freshmen have to have their place, but he didn't take long to get him in.
No, and he's got some upperclassmen that he wants to play early in the ball game.
This is Foster again. Gets the pitch, makes the move, and that's the reason he is so special. He takes it to the 27-yard line. Durrell Price again with a paving block as Shevin Marshall stopped it.
And the other thing, Ron, when you look at, you talked about Price making the block. This big offensive line at UCLA, they position block.
Mike, they are back at the line of scrimmage with a trick play.
They got a quick.
Sorry,
No, they had them set up pretty well for this.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So Bob Toledo reaches way down into the bag of tricks, and now he says, guys, now we can't use that again.
Well, anytime you catch a defense coming out of the huddle as slow as Miami's coming out right now, that sets that play up. But I expect Miami to be the team to pull out all stops today, fake some kicks and do some things, because no pressure at all in Miami today.
With the 5-yard penalty, it is second down, 7. Nothing doing on this running play, and going to be stopped, maybe a gain of 1. Michael Lawson is there to come up and make the tackle.
Well, he really filled well, Ron. The backup defensive tackle stuck in there and made the play. Knocked the fullback back, Craig Wallendy.
Jermaine Lewis checks back in. The sophomore, who is the starter at tailback. Foster goes out.
Now let's see if they go after Nick Ward on the left side.
Line to make on third down is the 25 of Miami. McNown for the shotgun. Great protection. And that's who they go after, and it is incomplete. Can't hold on. Actually, Marquise Fitzgerald was over on that side, that play.
Yeah, Brian Foley-Dixon tried to use his height with the out route. Just couldn't hold on to the pass.
This is going to be a field goal attempt by Saylor of 50 yards as the ball is placed down about a foot shy of the 40-yard line. His longest is 47, and he's kicking into a stiff breeze, and he's going to pooch kick it.
Oh, good call right here by Bob Toledo.
That thing is going to go dead inside the 5-yard line. So Miami gets the stop, but they also are going to have the shadow of their goalpost at their back as they open their first offensive series. Let's take a break. No score from the Orange Bowl.
Know someone who could use a nice home improvement gift? The Home Depot has everything you need to fix up your holiday gift list. The Home Depot, the toy store for big kids.
Hunting for a great deal on a great ATV? Then hurry to your Yamaha dealer for all-terrain value days. And get 0 down and payments as low as $69 a month for 3 full years on not 1, not 2, but 9 great Yamaha models. So quit messing around. And hurry to your Yamaha dealer today for all-terrain value days. Because at this rate, they won't last long.
Whenever car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Yamaha, makers of the new line of Bear ATVs. Yamaha goes out here, Bears rule. And by Die Hard, America's most trusted battery. Die Hard, what's under your hood? Cade McNown on the sideline talking with Alan Borges, the offensive coordinator, and they discuss what they're going to attempt in their second offensive series.
Nice job by Bob Toledo, Ron, on punting the football like he did, because Miami forced him to try to block the field goal and no one was back.
Edgerrin James still on his feet. That's a good tough run out to close to the 9-yard line, and that gives us an opportunity to look at the starters for the Hurricanes. Covington at quarterback, Nick Williams is the fullback, and Edgerrin James, who we just saw. You'll see James catch the ball a lot today as well. The receivers, Moss and King on the outside, and Franks, the tight end. Also, we'll see a lot of Fulcher. And up front with the offensive line, Richard Mercier, probably the best of the offensive linemen, the youngster out of Quebec, plays at left guard. And an injured player for UCLA, Brendan Ayanbadejo.
Yeah, and he would be a big loss because he leads the team in sacks with 9, and he's had 13 tackles for losses. They can't afford to lose him. He's one of the 2 seniors on defense. Daniel Franks blocking on him.
The difficult thing for him is the coaches said that Brendan has not played that much of the outside. He's always been an inside backer.
When you're a young defensive football team, you only have 2 seniors. That's one of your leaders that you're losing early in this ball game. The other senior, Larry Atkins, the safety who leads them in tackles.
So Ali Abdul Aziz, number 48, a junior from Santa Maria, California, will come in replacing him at that right outside linebacking position. Not much up the middle. Michael Webb, the nose guard, is there to make the stop on the play, and defensively for UCLA. This is the way it's going to be. The down 3, Coleman, Michael Webb, who just made the stop, and Pete Holland. And the linebackers, Hall, Neese, White, Ayanbadejo on the sideline right now. And as we said, Aziz is in the game for him. Anderson and Jason Bell are the corners. Jason Stevens, only a freshman. Larry Atkins is the quarterback in that secondary, number 35, youngster out of Venice, California. Covington with his first pass. Gets it out to his fullback, Williams. And Williams runs over the tackler and crosses the 20 to the 22. Good for 13 yards.
Ron, Miami gave a slot formation, 2 receivers to the top of the screen. On the backside, they caught UCLA in a coverage a problem here because they brought Nick Williams out of the backfield. Now watch, Nick Williams is going to come out of the backfield. No one's going to pick him up because the linebacker's going to run with the tight end. Nick Williams filters out of the backfield, gets bumped. You see no one over there. So again, good play call by Butch Davis.
UCLA faking blitz. They stay at home, and a quick out pass. Santana Moss, and he will be bumped out of bounds by Marquise Anderson. On that receiving corps, Mike, big absence with an injury to a knee before the Syracuse game.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne, and but Ron, you and I both talked about this. It's imperative that Miami starts out and has success early in this ball game.
No question about it. And guys like Santana Moss, Andre King, and Darryl Jones are going to have to step up.
Moss has to be the big play guy for this Miami offense in the receiving corps.
He's at the bottom of the screen, the second inside receiver. Straight ahead with Edgerrin James, and he'll take it to the 30-yard line. So it'll be third down at about 3. The other thing that was discussed when we visited with the coaches on Thursday was the fact that this offense has got to keep the Miami defense off the field, something they did not do at Syracuse.
Without a doubt. And the key player, Ron, is Edgerrin James, because you have to be able to run the football. You made the comment about the first quarter disappearing here, time-wise. But Edgerrin James, they've got to get 200 yards rushing as an offensive football team, have any chance to win this football game.
Edgerrin, third best in the Big East. You see his numbers over 1,100 yards. Fulcher, the tight end that they send in motion. Zings the pass. He's got him at the 40. Andre King, and he just spun Marquise Anderson completely around. 17 yards in the pass play.
Well, that's the 21st reception by Andre King. He's only had 1 touchdown, but Marquise Anderson is going to lose his footing and slip down. You see the pressure on Scott Covington. Here's Andre King working against Anderson. Anderson slips a little bit. Can't come back, and Andre King does come back and makes the play.
Quick count, little counter trade. Penetration by UCLA, and James, well, he's fortunate to pick up 3 yards in the play. That was a nice job by him because UCLA immediately had penetration into the backfield.
That's the kind of back Edgerrin James is. He gets, when you talk to Larry Coker, the offensive coordinator, he says he gets better the more carries he gets, which is true of most backs. And Edgerrin James is 220.
I also would suggest to you that this is the 8th play of the drive, but if Miami were able to take this down and score, then as far as confidence on both sides of the football for the Hurricane, that would be huge.
Well, big.
Back into the boundary again. Edgerrin James keeps his balance and fights his way to the 45. It'll be third down, about 2.5. Jason Stevens is here to tackle him.
And this drive started inside the 5-yard line, a key pass play by Scott Covington. Otherwise, Edgerrin James has been the workhorse in this first drive.
2 tight ends, Daniel Franks and Mandrell Fulcher, in the ball game for Butch Davis and the Miami Hurricanes, and he knows how important this opening drive is as well. As you see the clock go under 6 minutes to play first quarter. Edgerrin James behind the block of Fulcher, has 5, has 10, he's loose. Gets the block downfield, and he will score. 45 yards. By Nick Williams' name as he threw the paving block on the outside, and also Andre King.
Yeah, Andre King did a nice job downfield, and that caused the touchdown because there was no defensive back to make the play.
Crossland with the extra point, and he hits it. Folks, that is a 96-yard drive by the Miami Hurricanes to open this football game. As you look at it one more time, we go to break. It is Miami 7, and the UCLA Bruins nothing. We'll be right back.
He challenged authority.
I want to learn about people. I want to help them with...
That's what I do.
But you suck at it.
And change the face of medicine, one laugh at a time.
Donner, party of 50.
Patch Adams, rated PG-13. Sneak preview Saturday, December 12th.
Big Bob's Exterminating. Spiders? Oh, we do spiders. Scorpions?
I love the challenge. Centipedes? Centipedes are our speciality.
The Queen Centipede. Bring her on.
The bugs are back. Centipede on CD-ROM. Take on 5 all-new worlds or play classic style. Get your hands on Centipede for PC CD-ROM.
Well, maybe we could talk about this.
That's a Nike Total Air Pillar. It's what they call a power cross-training shoe designed for athletes like Charles Woodson, who have a more aggressive training regimen. You want to see how they feel? Sure. Charles. How'd that feel?
Good. You got that in 10 and a half? For every action, there's foot action.
Universal Pictures presents the true story of a man
We'll use humor to heal pain and suffering.
who was crazy enough to care about his patients.
Donner, party of 50?
Patch Adams, rated PG-13. Sneak preview Saturday, December 12th.
The top rushers in college football have all won the Heisman. Will Ricky Williams take his place in history? The Heisman Trophy Award Presentation Show, Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN.
7-0 Miami, and I want to show you an interested party or group watching out in Tucson, Arizona. They're at the house of Yusef Scott. These are members of the Arizona Wildcats. Paul Shields is next to him, trunk candidate, and then Keith Smith. And obviously they would not be pleased with that opening drive that they just saw because they want to see the Bruins win. That group of fellows, deservedly so, would like to go to the Rose Bowl to take on the Wisconsin Badgers.
Believe me, there's a lot of interested parties all over the country in this ball game. Ron, one thing I want to mention, Brendan Iambadagio, when he got hurt, that was the side that they hit him on with the touchdown.
Sievers will kick it off. Rock and Jermaine Lewis back deep. And again, with the aid of the wind, long kick, but it's going to stay in the field of play this time. This is Rock. Like I told you, he's a game and heartbreaker, but here comes a deep flag downfield. He's going to take it all the way down inside the 30-yard line, but the flag is back at the Miami 31-yard line. So a race, a 61-yard return. We mentioned John Smith Jr., our referee today. The officials today from the Big East Conference.
Ron, this UCLA offense.
During the return, holding against the return team. 10 yards assessed in the spot of the foul will be 1st and 10.
Ron, they've been used to this. They've been behind a lot during this season, and they have reacted very, very well, and they come back and score. It's a big drive for them, but there's a lot of football to be played yet in this ball game.
Oh, I don't think anybody's mailing it in. 5:24 left, opening quarter. Keith Brown, number 1, comes in for the first time at tailback. He's a junior out of Phoenix. Pitch comes to him. Got blockers in front, and a nice pursuit and tackle at the 22 by Nick Ward. And Larry Beal, let's check in with you.
Hey, Ron, BYU and Air Force in the WAC championship game. Scoreless for almost the entire first half, but a forced fumble resulting in BYU's Kevin Federick with an eternity to throw to hit Mike Riggle. 7-0 Cougars at the half.
Boy. Now, that is surprising. I thought that would be a much higher scoring football game.
Well, I think there's a quarterback injury for the Air Force and in that ball game, and BYU's pretty good defensive football team.
Same thing had happened to Fisher DeBerry last year, just before we had him in the Las Vegas Bowl. Play action, going to go long, and wide open is Farmer. And he is going to take it the distance. Danny Farmer, the junior from Los Angeles, 77 yards. And just like that, there is a hush. And look in Tucson, Arizona.
Now, Ron, that's what I was talking about. This is an explosive offensive football team they don't matter what the score is. They hit big plays. And Danny Farmer, there was a bust in the coverage. Nick Ward and Al Blades, number 7 and 3, come together on this bootleg right here, and just there's a slip right here by Nick Ward, and that opens up Danny Farmer, and that's pretty good speed, 4.65 to get in the end zone.
I still think he's faster than that, Mike. He is a beautiful receiver, though, I can tell you that. That's Saylor with the extra point. And, boy, it has gone down a few decibel levels here at the Orange Bowl. 4:33 left in the opening quarter. Farmer, 77 yards. We're tied.
If I said you could get your hair...
Making plans for the holidays? Don't forget Sonny's Barbecue. There's nothing like a Sonny's whole smoked turkey and all our country fixins to fill up that holiday table. And don't forget Sonny's Catering. We make any size family get-together or office party easy, affordable, and delicious. Just call Sonny's today and have yourself a yummy holiday.
to build the world's best ATV. We chose our role model carefully. The new Big Bear and Big Bear 4x4 from Yamaha. Because out here, bears rule.
Easy Living Yamaha is your four-wheeler dealer.
To the Vikings on ESPN Sunday Night Football.
Leif Erickson would have been a hell of a linebacker. He was strong. He was fearless. He had fortitude.
Leif Erickson can kiss my fanny.
I would love to see you say that to the great Leif Erickson, because he would pummel you, and I would love to see that. I would really love to see it.
Bring it on!
ESPN Sunday Night Football. The Bears against the Vikings.
I believe it's pronounced Leif Erickson.
Our score now tied at 7, and a reminder, today's overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp, Stars and Stripes, which is based in Pompano Beach, California. At the controls is Captain Jim Maloney. And Jim, by the way, is from San Jose, California. I wonder if he's pulling for the Bruins this afternoon. And there's a good look at Farmer. What an interesting story. He is a volleyball player. As Mike said, he's a walk-on, and he's got another year. And you know the toughest thing in volleyball is you got to have just perfect timing as far as spiking the ball. But he's perfect in timing jumps, I can tell you that. Davenport in the end zone is going to return it. Runs into his own man at the 23. Adrian Karsten, let's check with you, big guy.
Ron, I have a roller coaster of emotions over here behind the UCLA bench, primarily because Brendan Ayanbadejo, with a sprained left knee, is out of the game, at least for now. Not even on the field, Ron, into the locker room for x-rays. They have a good unit here where they can take a couple of pictures, get a look at that, but he will not be back for the duration of the first quarter. We'll have to take a look again in the second quarter. I'll update you as time goes on.
Okay, that's the play that he was injured on, and you could see that he just wound up underneath the pile, his own teammates and Miami Hurricanes, and that's when he had to leave. Caught by Fulcher. Nice move by Fulcher. He's going to have the first down, and then is going to be still fighting his way forward to the 40. Fulcher, folks, was a high school quarterback, and I know that Tom Osborne came from Nebraska. He wanted to sign him as an option quarterback. They've made him a tight end here, and it has worked out just wonderfully. But he's a big guy for a quarterback.
Right. Coffeyville High School. Larry Coker, the offensive coordinator from Miami, was the first one in the school. Tom Osborne was the second one. But Miami won the recruiting war for Fulcher.
Now he's 6'3", 245. I doubt that they would let him wake up quite that much if he were playing quarterback. Puts to James, stiff arm, and they say he's going to be down at the 40. Atkins and Ryan Reese combining on the tackle for UCLA.
Yeah, Atkins is the leading tackler, and Ryan Neese, a freshman will linebacker, are probably without Ayanbadejo on the field. They have to pick up the game a little bit for this UCLA defense. Nice block by Robert Hall, the left tackle.
Like he's coming back out, so maybe this is good news. Maybe
they need him.
Able to retape and get him prepared to play. 2nd and 9, quick out pass. Caught and hit immediately. Moss spins his way forward. Jason Stevens, the freshman out there, trying to make the tackle on him, but he's short of the first.
Yeah, Ron, you talked about their defense and where they rank in 91st total defense, but the thing they've been able to do is cause turnovers, force fumbles, 33 turnovers this year, which is big, and they've caused 27 fumbles, recovered 21. So they need something like that to spark them here defensively.
Nick Aliotti, first year, is the defensive coordinator. Covington today, by the way, is 5 of 5 as Edgerrin James puts a head down, and that'll move the chains for the Hurricanes. Ali Abdulaziz on the stop.
Well, I'm impressed with Edgerrin James. You know, you talk to the Miami coaches. Larry Coker was on the staff at Oklahoma State when they had Thurman Thomas, and he said, Mike, he's stronger than Thurman Thomas, and he's in the same class as Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders. So that's saying a lot about a running back.
Darrell Jones into the lineup. Also number 26, Aaron Mosier. Covington, deep drop, and he swings it out to James. Breaks the first tackle. and is going to have another Miami first down. Tony White came up to make the stop, and it's Marquise Anderson who hit him and did not make the open field grab.
Again, that shows you his strength. He carried the ball coming into this football game 203 times for 14 touchdowns. Scott Covington alertly comes off to Edgerrin James. There's the missed tackle by Marquise Anderson, and the power running of Edgerrin James, finally brought down by Tony White.
Tied at 7 if you're just now joining us. Just under 2 minutes to play in the opening half. Counter tray, and it's James, and oh my goodness, that is a nice job by Robert Thomas. If he doesn't stop him, he may have been headed for 6 again.
You talk about a workhorse in the first quarter. Now, Edgerrin James is the workhorse. I mean, he is carrying the football and power running against this UCLA defense, catching the ball out of the backfield.
And Mike, look where they continue to go, to the side of the field where Ian Benejo would be playing.
There's no doubt. You lose something when you lose one of your 2 seniors on defense.
James, 9 carries, 71 yards for him. As Davenport comes in at tailback, gets the handoff and a fresh set of legs. Going to take it inside the 30-yard line, and he is very close to another first down. Ian Benejo looks on from the sideline. Thomas with his second tackle. Also, Tony White was there to help out. So you can... Edgerrin James on the bench, well-deserved. He's breathing hard.
And I'll tell you, the other player that's doing well for Miami, Scott Covington. The quarterback's off to a good start. Came into this football game with 16 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions, and he's playing very well here in the first quarter, making good decisions.
6 of 6, 70 yards for Scott Covington. Going to throw again. Got incomplete. This time it's Andre King, and he breaks the tackle. King knocked out of bounds inside the 5. First and goal, Hurricane.
Another missed tackle.
Marquise Anderson.
Yeah, Marquise Anderson's having a chance to at least make the tackle. Number 7 is going to come up, at least make the tackle and start to change again. But again, another missed tackle on Andre King. Just came up and poor angle pursued Andre King, just went right around him.
And Marquise Anderson having a tough go of it on this drive right here. First down Miami. The ball is just inside the 5. 9th play of the drive. Straight ahead is Davenport. He may have one.
And Ian Benejo is back in the football game, and he makes the first play coming off the bench and makes that play on Najee Davenport from the backside.
Frank, let me say this about Scott Covington. He is from Laguna Niguel, California. He knows a lot of these UCLA players, either played against them or knew of them when he was in high school out there. And his dad is in for the football game. Got to visit with him on Thursday afternoon at practice. Quick pass, got it in the end zone for the touchdown. Mosier.
There was no one out there, Ron. No one covered him at all. No adjustment by UCLA. They didn't even see him lined up on the outside. Aaron Moser, number 26, standing out here all by himself. Air right here. Nobody on him. They don't get any easier than that.
Nick Aliotti looking on. 10 seconds left in his opening quarter, and it has been interesting indeed. Miami strikes back. Hurricanes 14 and UCLA 7.
UCLA 7.
Aaron Moser standing out here the left side. Obviously, the defensive backs didn't seem lined up out there because no one came out to pick up number 26, Aaron Moser. That's too easy.
My question is, he didn't run on late, but certainly he didn't run out of the huddle, and nobody followed him out there.
It was a complete bust.
Here they break the huddle.
Yeah, there's nobody comes out with him. I mean, he's standing out here by himself. He can't figure this out either.
Look at the coaches on the sideline. Look back behind. The UCLA coaches screaming, you got a man uncovered.
Yeah, Scott Covington alertly sees him over there and hits the touchdown pass.
Similar situation. BC could have beaten Notre Dame, and they had an uncovered, and Notre Dame called a timeout when they saw that it was there. Now, he is a load. You got to make sure that you make a sure tackle on him, or he'll be off and running on every return. Al Blades in the tackle. That is the end of the first quarter. Miami 14, UCLA 7. Right back.
Rebel, rebel.
Enter the Cannon Super Sunday Sweeps at your participating Cannon dealer, and you may win a trip to the Super Bowl.
Oh, great one. How much time do I have left?
You have 15 minutes.
15 minutes? 15?
Maybe 20?
What? I can't take a bath in 20 minutes. What are you talking about?
Oh, times on tapes.
There is a better way to see how much time's left on your tapes. Sony Smart Files. With one wave, it automatically tells you what's on your tapes. Plus, it fast-forwards to exact spots.
I'm getting another call. They just said 40 minutes for you. This is your lucky day, mister.
Sony Smart File VCRs. Now you know.
With 6 wins this season and the 1998 NASCAR Truck Series Championship, it looks like the only truck that can stay ahead of Ron Hornaday's Napa Brakes truck is the 18-wheeler that hauls it. Now you can get a replica of Hornaday's NASCAR hauler for only $21.99 during Napa's holiday event. Napa, over 200,000 parts, and every one's important.
Hey, we work here in the ESPN, the magazine shipping department. We really love our jobs, especially these days because, well, we're sending out a free gift to all the new subscribers. There's no time to lose. Subscribers are waiting. We need to send out these official ESPN, the magazine sweatshirts ASAP.
Subscribe now to ESPN the magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold with unbelievable photos, honest interviews, previews and predictions, the teams to beat and the players to watch.
Ralph, please shove the sweatshirt in the box.
Hey, you know, I've always loved this shade of blue.
Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. That's 66% off the newsstand price. And with your paid subscription, you'll get your very own ESPN the magazine sweatshirt, absolutely free.
Wonder what lucky subscriber is going to get this one, huh?
No subscriber is going to get that one, Ralph, unless you put it in a box.
Call now, 1-800-682-1818.
A lot of football to play, 14-7, the Hurricanes on top. But one thing that I know Bob Toledo is aware of, that when you come into this house, these are the kind of things that can happen to you. Here are win streaks ended by Miami. You look at those numbers. Notre Dame in 89, Nebraska in 84, Oklahoma in 88, Florida State twice, 91 and also 86. The tackle leaders at the end of the first quarter, Ward for Miami with 4 and White for UCLA with 4. Deshaun Foster back in a tailback for the Bruins.
Good ball. Delay of game on the offense.
Coming up tomorrow on ESPN2 College Football, a bowl selection special. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit. Join them for a look at each and every bowl game, including the BCS National Championship game out at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. It's tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2.
Ron, just a delay game. UCLA looks lethargic to me here early in the ball game. I don't know, the trip, what, it took something out of them or what, but
quick pass. There's Farmer. Nice job this time by Nick Warden. You can see the difference in size between those two guys. Let's check it again with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, something else to consider. I've seen guys behind the UCLA bench here be late into special teams, not getting the right call out on defense. I think Mike makes a very good point here. Consider a couple of things. 4.5, 5-hour flight across the country yesterday. They could have made the trip on Thursday. Also, they've had 2 weeks off, and none of these players have ever been in the stadium before. Maybe a couple of elements adding to the lethargy here by UCLA.
Deshaun Foster. He's going to have the first down and he'll take it out close to the 40-yard line. And, you know, guys, I think all of what we are saying is true, but I think it'll take another big run by him or Danny Foster to get behind the secondary, and I think they'll be just as pumped.
Yeah,
but they have been. When you have such a lack of focus that you let a receiver break the huddle and don't go out to cover him, no.
Well, then you come right back with a delay of game penalty. Those are signs, again, that you see. But I'm like you. This is a quick strike offensive football team. A lot of missed tackles here in the first quarter by UCLA.
McNown, short drop, sidearms this one, and well, he caught it when his knee was on the ground. Farmer makes the reception.
Right. And Derek Ham again putting a pressure on Cade McNown. Number 71 working inside of Chris Ferris. Big 6'9", 315-pound tackle.
Talked to Derek Ham at practice on Thursday, and I said, what is the toughest thing about Ferris? He said, just getting around him. He's so big, but he said, when he locks onto you, you're locked on too.
Well, he gets his hands on him.
Oh, boy. They set the screen back into the short side. Jermaine Lewis, and hang on. Lewis, 35 at the 30, and it's going to be caught from behind by Michael Smith.
Boy, I'll tell you, you talk about a screen pass that's blocked very, very well. Andy Myers, Sean Stewart, the center, Danny Farmer downfield, and then he pulled off just when it could be a block in the back.
Personal foul, face mask against Miami. So add more yardage onto this one.
And Ron, Cade McNown makes this play because he drops, sets, and then dumps the football. Now you see the block, and now watch Danny Farmer, 87, pulls off of the block on Edward Reed just in time.
And now with this penalty, that's going to take it inside the 10 to the 8. It is first and goal, UCLA. And just like that, they're in position to tie this ball game up again.
And that's two screen passes early in this ball game. Again, trying to slow down the pass rush of Miami's front four. Miami's front four is notorious for roaring up the football field.
Look at McNown, 153 yards already. Plus the one touchdown to Farmer, 77. Fumble the snap, and he'll get right back on it at the 10. And Cade looked as though he just got a little anxious coming out with the football and came out before it was in his hands. When they walked through last night, he was standing out at the 40-yard line throwing passes at the crossbar of the upright. He said that's always a good gauge to him as far as checking depth in a stadium. And he was banging it most every time he threw it.
Yeah, he's a very accurate passer. But I like his ball handling as well as his accuracy.
That's their first play for minus yardage in the ballgame. The mishandled snap. Willie Dixon in motion. Wings the pass. Oh, my goodness. Dobravac makes the catch, and then Dan Morgan just really tattooed him.
Well, Dan Morgan is a true freshman. Last year led Miami in tackles with 105. He's second in the tackles this year with 131. He just sat in the middle on zone coverage. Eyes up the receiver. Dobravac coming across the middle and makes the hit.
Third down. McNown, pressure coming again from Ham, and gets it away. Caught for the touchdown, Paulie Dixon.
Ron, I'm going to tell you something. Derek Ham is really upset. He felt he was being held by Chris Ferris, and I agree with him. He could not make a play on Cade McNown because he couldn't get Chris Ferris's hands off of him. Cade McNown bought time because Derek Ham was held up.
Saylor to attempt the extra point, trying to tie this one up at 11:54 left in the second quarter.
And the kick is good.
We got a track meet.
Well, it's not unusual for the UCLA Bruins. Let's take a timeout. The touchdown pass to Paulie Dixon as he falls to the ground. We'll be right back.
There's a place where you don't have to play the game to win. Where you belong to your ambition and nothing else matters. There's a place where you can do what you love and love what you do. No limits. Welcome to the club. K-Swiss.
I'm a CEO. I'm accountable to my shareholders. So when we needed a server-based network for 16,000 people, I wanted someone who'd be accountable to me. Then Dell came to see me. Dell delivered exactly what they promised, business-critical servers. As CEO, you'd kill for an original thought, for someone to come to you with a solution, not a problem. I didn't get a computer from Dell. I got a partner. Be direct.
Dell. Dell computers use Intel Pentium 2 processors.
They clean them. They polish them. They lavish them with extras. Maybe the reason Dodge Ram owners take such good care of their trucks is that their trucks take such good care of them. And now, Ram is J.D. Power & Associates' most appealing full-size pickup for the 4th consecutive year. The rules have changed.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. Well, a good look at the resting Miami defense.
Ron, a couple key plays here. First of all, a hold on Chris Ferris right here against Ham. Now watch as he gets into him. Now he tries to break away to make the play on Cade McNown, but he can't get off, so it gives Cade McNown more time. On the other side, Brian Paulie Dixon, right here in the end zone, gets his hand up to show Cade McNown where he's at, never stops on the route, and makes that play happen with that touchdown effort.
You know, when you teach that from Pee Wee football on, help your quarterback and keep moving. And boy, that's a great example of it right there.
Don't count your money. You just keep running.
That kick completely out of the end zone by Saylor. Well, coming up on Friday, the Heisman Trophy preview show. Chris Lee and Kirk break down the field, including Cade McNown and the front-runner Texas tailback Ricky Williams. Then on Saturday, ESPN is proud to bring you the 1998 Heisman Trophy presentation. That at 7:30 Eastern.
Now, we talked about Edgerrin James. He had 10 rushes for 71 yards in the first quarter. It's Cade McNown, and the offense answers Miami.
Well, Edgerrin is the guy.
He is. I mean, he has to do it for them to have any chance to win. He's got to continue this effort.
And he brings a big work field to work. Covington got him open right over the middle and can't hold on. Andre King. Larry Beal, let's check with you.
Hey, Ron, the traditional battle that is Army-Navy. How about the halfback pass? The military getting tricky here. Bobby Williams to John Johnson. The cadets with a second half comeback. Navy, however, still leading 30-25 in the fourth quarter.
Well, as always, a fun one. Our game, lots of fun as well. Tied at 14. Edgerrin James waits for the block, breaks it into the secondary, and he's going to go for the first down. At the 33, Jason Stevens will make the tackle. Ian Benejo out of the ball game again.
Yeah, that really hurts this UCLA defense. But again, first down, throw the football. A good play called by Larry Coker. Then come back and get the ball in Edgerrin James's hand. Gets a nice block from Damon Neely, number 75, into the secondary.
The one area, particularly in the games that we watched, SC and also Washington. So tackle to tackle, those two teams were able to run pretty efficiently on UCLA.
They had success, and you look for UCLA to start blitzing Miami.
And here they come with a blitz, Mike, and a pass thrown complete to Andre King, and he's going to be stopped at the 43. But even though Ryan Rock makes the tackle, it's good for the first down.
It looks like it's going to be the last one with a football to win here. Then no one can stop the other team's offense. Andre King with a nice curl route. Scott Covington throwing on first down because they're able to throw on first down because they know they got Edgerrin James that can pick it up with 2 downs in the running game. So the first down's a good pass down for Miami's offense.
Darrell Jones and Aaron Moser in at wide receiver. They're at the top of the screen for Miami. But it's James in the running play. Little stutter step, and he'll go across midfield to the 48. Tony White is hanging on to him. Adrian Karsten.
UCLA bench tells me, Ron, that to bring Ian Badejo back so early was premature. Obviously, they've got another game to play, no matter where it is and when it is. They'd be risking permanent damage now to him. After they took the wrap off, after they took the hardware, the metal brace off of that knee, it is a sprain, but they don't want to risk anything further. So, unless there's something miraculous at halftime, he's done.
And he made a play. When he came right back on the field, he made a tackle.
So Bob Toledo having to play a man short, as is Miami today defensively. In fact, the Hurricanes are playing a couple short. Tony White again making a tackle. And Santi Hall is the man who strung the play out, helping his teammates.
You don't think Tennessee and Kansas State are riding Edgerrin James in this ball game, too?
Well, don't forget about Arizona. It looks like that crowd is growing out there.
Yeah, they want to get on TV.
Call the neighbors. UCLA 14, Miami 14. Under 10 minutes to play in the opening half. King in motion. James hurdles one tackler, and he will go for the Miami first down at the 44. Ryan Neese is there to make the stop on it.
Well, he's on the path to carry about 35 times in this football game.
I was going to say the first half, Mike.
Yeah, Christmas. He's just an effort guy in this game. Good blocking. Again, Ryan Neese finally makes the tackle, but Daniel Franks and Joaquin Gonzalez and Damon Neely, the offensive line, just having their way with UCLA.
Look at this. He's almost at 100 yards on 13 carries. James again. And that's a gain of 1.5 yards. Anthony Fletcher, also Micah Webb.
What that does, O'Ron, is it forces you to get the extra guy in the box, which opens up Scott Covington to throw on the outside. Big cushions on the outside for curls and hitches and quick slants. So really, Miami's got their way right now. Larry Coker calling an excellent football game here in the first half.
Edgerrin James, they have spelled him with Davenport in the first half, but he has been on the field most of the way. Blitz right up the middle. They set the screen, and there was nobody out there, and he just throws it away. Either somebody got caught in traffic or did not get an audible because the linemen were there. There was no back to the pass.
There was no one over there.
And it was the perfect defense to throw it on, Mike.
I don't know what happened on that play, but you're going to see him pump fake to the left side here. Looking back to throw a screen, there's no receiver backside. Billy Piper chasing down with Tony White, Scott Covington. He wisely threw the ball out of bounds, not to take the loss.
If the running back had been over on the left side, might have been a big gainer. Third down. Right up in the middle, got his man. That's Santana Moss. And it will be enough for the Miami first down at the 30-yard line. Stevens again defensively. 12 yards in the pass play.
And you know Scott Covington, being from California, wants this ball game in the worst way. In '95, Ron, he sent a letter to Butch Davis asking for a release. Butch Davis denied it, denied his request. He stayed with the program and now the starting quarterback in his senior season.
Well, his dad was here for the Hurricane game as well. I said, did you get him out? And he said, just barely. He had to go north and Midwest. Moss, 3 catches for 24. And James is going to go for short yardage right up the middle. Robert Thomas and Billy Piper again.
The more Miami's offense can do what they're doing right now, the more pressure they put on UCLA. Because the big prize and reaching for that big prize that UCLA wants to get, and the more heat that Miami's offense can put on this UCLA football team, the better chance.
We're already under 8 minutes in the first half, tied at 14, as these offenses have been relentless in ball control. 11th play of the drive coming up for Miami. Thrown high. high, but still brought in by Andre King. Ryan Rock that time, excuse me.
Yeah, the cushions by UCLA too big. They're giving too much ground up to Miami's receivers.
It looks like Joaquin Gonzalez, the right tackle, big freshman from here in Miami, is shaken up.
Ron, he's the Big East Rookie of the Year. The players really rally around him because of his effort. He walked on here and earned a scholarship. 6'5", 285 pounds, Rookie of the Year, redshirt freshman in the Big East. Here's the play, Scott Covington with a big cushion. Andre King against Ryan Rock. He comes up, makes the play, but it's a first down.
Looked as though in the replay that he might have gotten a knee in the helmet. So he's coming off to the sideline for a moment. We'll check him out and see how quickly he's back into the lineup. Looks like 76. Robert Sampson, a junior out of Brandon, Florida. 6'3", 284, will come in replacing Joaquin Gonzalez. There's Robert. UCLA jumping around on defense on the first down play. James gets by one tackler, gets by a second, and he is out of bounds around the 10-yard line. That is a gain of almost 10 more.
Ron, so many missed tackles by UCLA. Again, talking about lethargic on defense here. Tony White arm tackling Edgerrin James, and you're not going to arm tackle him. 6'1", 220 pounds. He's a powerful runner. There's the missed tackle, the arm tackle by Tony White. Now he's in the secondary.
By the way, the Miami record for the most rushes in a game is Otis Anderson, 39 against Miami, or against Florida in 1978.
He's in trouble.
Well, James already got 16 today. And you see his season average and what he already has today. First and goal, Miami. Blitz right up the middle, but they pick it up. Lob for the end zone, and too far for Santana Moss. That would have been a tough catch where the sun is.
And Ron, you talked about it in the open, whether a defense that is porous as this defense can win a national championship, and the answer is they've got to cause turnovers, and they haven't been able to cause any against Miami's offense to this point.
And they have been just unbelievably good at causing turnovers and picking up fumbles.
And I think Edgerrin James has forced UCLA's defense not to blitz as much.
James waits for the block at the 5, and he'll score. Big number 62, Richard Mercier, the left guard out of Montreal, Quebec, leads the way, and watch his block.
Yeah, he pulls Ron, and he just gets right in front of Edgerrin James and leads him right in the end zone. He gets a helmet on Duval Hicks, number 24.
Extra point by Crossland, and he's good. So let's take a break. 7 minutes even left in the first half. And if you just joined us, 21-14 Canes.
It introduced the most powerful overall line of pickups on the planet and stamped the terms V10 and Magnum power indelibly on the face of truckdom. It kicked open the door to the next generation of pickups and made such an impression that today, this is all you have to see to know what's behind it.
Croft, for your latest assignment, you'll be going to some new places. South Pacific, Antarctica, and you'll be getting some new toys, Gunther.
This is the new rocket launcher, a girl's best friend.
We've been watching you. Your work is very impressive.
Layer 3, for Midas Interactive.
Oh, and one other thing. New outfit.
Let's go to Dan in Chopper 1 for more on the gorilla situation. Dan?
Connie, the tiny victim, fell 40 feet into Bobo's habitat. Wow. Now Bobo is cradling it. She's moving toward the door. Her maternal instincts clearly taking hold.
You can do it, girl.
Unbelievable.
What an amazing end to the situation. The little guy is now back in the arms of loved ones.
The top rushers in college football have all won the Heisman. Will Ricky Williams take his place in history? The Heisman Trophy Award Presentation Show, Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN.
Now you take a look at the UCLA bench. They're down by 7. I am Badejo watching without his shoulder pads on. And in case you've joined us late, we'll reiterate that he had an injury to his leg back in the first quarter. They took him out, put him back in for a couple of plays, and he had to go right back out. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for Miami. Miami rushing 125 yards, 121 of that by James, passing 128 for 253 yards.
Yeah, it's been a good combination. Edgerrin James, of course, leads it, and then Covington, the quarterback's been very accurate here in the first half.
Severs to kick it off for Miami. Now he's kicking into the wind. And he pooches this one. Caught and hit immediately at the 23-yard line is Brian Fletcher. Well, the hunt for the national championship continues later today over on ABC at 4:30 Eastern. It's the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, K-State against Texas A&M, and that is followed by Mississippi State taking on Tennessee in the SEC Championship game at 8 o'clock from the Georgia Dome. Here are the BCS standings: Tennessee, UCLA, K-State, and Florida State and Ohio State. Keith Brown, number 1, comes in at tailback for the Bruins. Play action, there's pressure again, and going to go deep and trying to get Polly Dixon. Larry Beal, let's check with you.
Ron, more on Army and Navy. Army happens to lead the nation in rushing, and this is why. Tyrene Amy high-stepping and aloha. 70-yard touchdown run. The Cadets come back to take a 31-30 lead, 7.5 to go.
A lot of scoring in that ball game.
Ham just came out of the ball game to get a breather. Number 95, Brian Stinson, sophomore out of DeLand, Florida, replaces him at right defensive end. Here's the option play. Goes back to Brown. Has 5 and counted off at 8 and now maybe 9 as Dan Morgan made the tackle.
Ron, on the previous play, Derek Ham, before he came out, working against Chris Ferris, the giant tackle, gets outside of him with a speed rush and puts pressure on Cade McNown. And that was a concern of Chris Ferris. He said, I'm real excited to go against Ham. He says, watching him on tape, I got so much respect for him. He said, I'm anxious to see how I can do against him.
Ham still on the bench, getting a breather. 3rd down and 4. You see the line to make. It's the 33. McNown sets deep. Got it. And it is caught by Farmer. I'm telling you, you get anything close to him, he's the best receiver I've seen in a long, long time as far as the whole package. What he does with his routes, tipped balls, whatever.
Well, you talked about him playing volleyball, and in volleyball, he said the great things about volleyball, I learned competition and also learned hand and eye coordination. You got to do it in volleyball, and you have to do it catching the football. Very confident wide receiver.
In the ball game at right defensive end. There's the rush on him, and they go long, and it is just overthrown at the 20-yard line. Myers with the cover, and it was Farmer that he was looking for.
Ron, if UCLA goes down and scores on this drive, put an asterisk by Danny Farmer because the catch he made to keep the chains moving on 3rd down. Now, that was a tough, very difficult catch. because it was bobbled and he was covered very well by the linebacker, Rod Mack. So if they continue this drive, those are the kind of plays you got to make to be a national champion.
3 catches for Farmer for 91 yards, and he has a 77-yard touchdown this afternoon. They fake the pitch, and here's the throw back to the tight end. And Grieve is going to take it to the 45-yard line, and I think that's enough for the first down. And Larry Beal.
All right, Ron, Air Force and BYU WAC title game. Blaine Morgan, the quarterback, playing on a bad ankle here, but dives into the end zone for the touchdown, and that game is now tied at 7 in the third quarter.
We all know what kind of guts that little guy has because, like I said, he was injured against Oregon just 2 days prior to that Las Vegas Bowl, and he tried to go on that gimpy leg last year.
I think he had a hip point or two in that game. Took a helmet in practice a couple days before that ball game.
They stretched the chains, and what was a nicely designed play to the tight end. Grieve picks up the first down.
Cade McNown and Bob Toledo, they use all their weapons. A lot of tight ends in this attack. 11 out of 15.
11 out of 14. 179 and 128. 2 touchdowns for McNown and 1 for Covington. Both quarterbacks have been very, very good today. In motion, they go with the running play, and breaking it outside is Keith Brown, as he's going to be tackled at the 50-yard line, and Dan Morgan is there to stop him. Now, we haven't seen Deshaun Foster in a while.
No, and Keith Brown, and again, Bob Toledo says I like to roll those tailbacks in by committee and see if somebody can get hot, but there's no doubt Deshaun Foster is the best big play runner of those 3 tailbacks.
Michael Smith comes out of the ball game from strong linebacker as Miami rolls in the extra defensive back. McNown under pressure, hit from behind, and he gets it away to Grieve. And the big tight end is rumbling inside the 30 and is knocked down at the 24. And I'll tell you what, he did the knocking down. Oh, my goodness, what a run. And Leonard Myers, who had just come back in the ball game, could not get out of his tracks.
No, and Leonard Myers, we were questionable whether he would play in this football game. Is now in the ball game. But Cade McNown does so much with his faking ability. Sets everything up, and then his mobility to get out of that pass rush and hit the ball to Mike Grieve.
Look at this hit right here, Mike. Grieve is 250, and I mean, he hit Myers and turned him from pointing toward Tallahassee to pointing toward the Keys. Here's Brown. Tackled as he goes inside the 20. Cade McNown is 12 of 16, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns now.
Ron, go back to that play Danny Farmer and Cade McNown made on 3rd down and 3 or 4 yards. And he made that catch on a tip football and kept this drive alive. Otherwise, they would have had to punt the football to Miami. And those are the kind of plays you look back on. Championships are won on.
The 9th play of the drive. Miami leads it by 7, 21-14. Brown bounces it to the outside, still fighting to the 10-yard line as Leonard Myers is holding on to him. And that's going to be enough for the UCLA first down. Let's see where they mark it, if they can pick up a first down without scoring.
Ron, one of the reasons you use tight ends in motion, because they're so close to the line of scrimmage where you have to take a fullback 4.5 yards back. Watch Mike Grieve as he comes in motion. Now he's right on the linebacker. He doesn't have to come from the backfield. So he meets the linebacker on the defensive side of the ball, which is big, and that's why you send a tight end in motion.
Well, it is 1st and goal, Michael. The ball is down at the 10-yard line. Brown again at the 5, puts a head down, running top to the 2. Dan Morgan saved the touchdown.
This is great offensive football. I mean, it's just up and down the field. I'm not so sure it's as great offense as the defenses are not able to stop anybody.
One of the things that we need to keep an eye on in the second half is when it comes to numbers, this man right here has more weapons as far as experienced soldiers than does Butch Davis. There's no question about that.
And how Edgerrin James holds up.
Yeah. 2nd and goal. Brown holding, goodness, does he get hit at the 2? I thought he was going in for the touchdown, and Chris Campbell, number 48, came out of nowhere to hit him head high and stop him. Also, Michael Burrow at the bottom of that stack.
And after Cade McNown gave that football off to Keith Brown, he came out on the outside. You see, nobody checks him. So eventually, upstairs in the press box, the coaches are going to say, in that situation again, you know, fake that football and roll Cade McNown out.
3rd down and goal. 12th play of the drive for UCLA. They go option, and he pitches it back, and Brown bobbles it and has to recover it. That's a smart play, though. Boy, that ball could have been picked up and returned, so Brown did everything he could, and that is just gather it in and go to the turf.
If he would have been able to handle that pitch right away, he scores. Because Cade McNown takes it right there to Ham, pitches the ball, but you can see Keith Brown just couldn't bring it in.
You saw who hit quarterback Cade McNown again. Derek Ham is right there on it.
Good first half.
Saylor with the attempt, 22 yards. And he nails it. So with 1:24 left until halftime, our new score, Miami 21 and UCLA 17. Let's take a break as the Bruins get on the board, but it's not with a touchdown.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Making plans for the holidays? Don't forget Sonny's Barbecue. There's nothing like a Sonny's whole smoked turkey and all our country fixins to fill up that holiday table. And don't forget Sonny's Catering. We make any size family get-together or office party easy, affordable, and delicious. Just call Sonny's today and have yourself a yummy holiday.
You're in for a pleasant surprise when you come to room service. Room service offers the finest custom window treatments available. You pick the fabric, the colors, and the style to create the perfect look to complement your home and lifestyle. Personalized assistance from the friendly and knowledgeable room service staff guarantee your satisfaction. Room service also carries elegant and sophisticated home accessories and gifts for all occasions. Room service is here to help you express your style at home.
ESPN 644 4644 ESPN
6'1", all world from the University of Hawaii, the titan of the keyboard, his highness of the highlight, Larry
Morning, ESPN.
21-17 our score with 1:24 left until halftime. And reminding you, providing our shots from above is the Goodyear blimp Stars and Stripes. This year marks the 100th year anniversary for its fleet of blimps. And as you can see, there are just not many clouds around. It is beautiful here in Miami. And these Miami fans think that Christmas could come early if this would continue. Here comes the UCLA kickoff, and with the wind to the back again, this one is going to go out of the back of the end zone. Well, this week's primetime NFL lineup begins with ESPN's Sunday Night Football. The Chicago Bears taking on Chris Carter and first-place Minnesota Vikings at 8:15 Eastern. Then ABC's Monday Night Football, Brett Favre and the Packers face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an NFC Central showdown. ESPN and ABC, exclusive homes of primetime NFL football. Foley Dixon and Dave Farmer on the sideline. That is a very good-looking two receivers right there, Mike.
Not a lot of time. 1:24 on the clock. 3 timeouts for Miami.
They go with James. He'll take it right up the middle. Has 5, has 10. Counted off at 12 yards as Ryan Neese will make the stop. Jason Stevens had the tackle broken on him. And Larry Beal, what do you have for us?
Well, coming up on the halftime report, Ron, we'll check the WAC title game between BYU and Air Force, the tradition of Army-Navy, also the game day gang. We'll check in with the Arizona Wildcats. It's got to be in agony watching this game right now with a Rose Bowl berth hanging in the balance. That's coming up at the half.
All righty, clock running, 1:10, now 1:09 left until intermission. James again. They stretch it out, waits for the blockers, and he's going to take it for 5 more. And I have a feeling right here that Larry Coker and Butch Davis is a crowd booing a little bit, but you don't want to do anything foolish. You had such a good first half.
No, Ron, but I'll tell you, I disagree in some ways, though, because you've had your way offensively. You have not been stopped. You got 3 timeouts left, and you got clock time running off. I think this is the time you go into your 2-minute drill. And I know what you're saying.
Well, this is such an opportunistic defense of UCLA. And they're going to go with James again. Ron, now the crowd is really.
Ron, the whole thing is they have not been able to stop Miami's offense this whole first half. Of course, now it's going to be stopped.
Now they're going to call a timeout with 15 seconds left. Well, that's a little bit of a surprise with doing the running plays and then all of a sudden calling the timeout, so we'll take the break with them.
You change your oil every 3,000 miles, right? No, do you? You push it. Now you're so busy you try to squeeze another 1,000 miles out of your oil. Or more. Well, squeeze this. To do it yourself when you have the time. Reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Anybody say insurance? It's been tested. And unlike that lazy uncle nobody really likes to talk about, it works. So go get some. Quaker State. Sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Neil, did you eat your chunky soup?
Huh?
Neil, did you eat your chunky soup?
Yeah, man. Chunky sirloin burgers with loads of vegetables and lots of beefy sirloin burgers grilled to perfection.
Neil, did you eat your chunky soup?
Why do you keep saying that? Mama.
Gotta make sure you eat good.
Campbell's Chunky Sirloin Burger. It's loaded with beef.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
Well, it can be a very pleasurable day in this part of the world. 21-17, Miami leads, 15 seconds left. Let's check in with our friends out at Tucson and what's happening. There's a chunk of the offense right there. It's Cortez Jenkins to the left, who has joined the group. Truck candidate, and Keith Smith on the right. And they are watching and hoping that UCLA gets that offensive prowess back in motion again.
And UCLA's in a prevent defense right now. They'll give them anything underneath.
James, 10 yards, 15, hit from behind, and that should be, unless they call a timeout. Stops the clock with 7 seconds until halftime. And looks as though Butch Davis has called another timeout, and they'll stop it 7 seconds, and we'll take another break. 21-17 Miami. We'll be right back.
Whenever I was down, they would always pick me up or tell me, you know, it's okay, you can do better next time. And they never put me down or told me that what I did was not good enough or anything. But they really helped me out through my tough situations that I needed to have a friend or shoulder to cry on. Mom and Dad, Michelle and Brian, my family, I just want to say thank you for just being there for me. I love you, and keep praying for me.
Where you choose to go to college is an important decision, and the University of Miami has some distinct advantages. Private, selective to offer, the University of Miami.
21-17 our score. It's 7 ticks left until intermission. And Edgerrin James, well over his average today. 21 carries, 153 yards. You see the average, 2 touchdowns. He averages 20 rushes a game. Well, we got another half to go. Gets the carry, breaks it. Inside the 30-yard line, Larry Atkins will make the tackle, and the clock has run out. It is halftime here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, with our score. Surprisingly, the Miami Hurricanes 21 and the third-ranked Bruins of UCLA 17. Now with the college football halftime report, let's rejoin Larry Beal.
All right, thank you, Ron Boyd.
Marvelous play calling by Miami in the first half. And I know they were concerned about it, maybe forcing a turnover and giving the ball to UCLA, but they had 1:24 on the clock. They ran 5 plays. They gained 52 yards. I think they did make a mistake, and it may come back to haunt them.
Well, as far as that first half is concerned, one of the things that they had to be thinking about is this has been a very opportunistic defense. But here's how the big play can happen quickly with UCLA.
Well, Farmer catches the big touchdown pass, and Cade McNown rolls to his left side, hits Pulley Dixon in the end zone. Alert play by the wide receiver, Stan Alive. And then they came back to answer Miami's third score and kind of fumbled the pitch on the option. Keith Brown, they didn't get in. They forced a field goal. Miami very methodical in the first half. UCLA, quick strike.
Interesting. Butch Davis, you see him there rolling his finger saying, let's get this thing going. He's having fun. He has to be.
Well, I don't know how much fun he's having right now, but they came out the second half with a little more fire in them when they came out of the locker room.
This kick, Davenport takes it about 5 yards deep and is instructed, nope, go down on one knee. Not going to return this one. First half stats in this ball game. Well, it indicates about exactly what you might expect from two teams that were just not stopped by the other defense.
Yeah, 177 yards rushing for Miami, and total yards, Miami getting the edge with 305. You mentioned it. UCLA has not forced a turnover on Miami yet. And how well will Edgerrin James run in the second half as he keeps piling up carry after carry? That's going to be the key.
Going to go up on first down, and nobody close. Andre King was the guy who was the intended receiver. Let's check with Adrian Karsten.
Ron, the topic conversation in the UCLA locker room at halftime was basically missed tackles, basically because of the loss of Brendan Iamondezio. With the loss of him and that knee injury, they lose a man who can really close on a guy like James for Miami, both on the pass and the run. So here's what they're going to do. Scrap the defensive game plan they came in with, go back to the original run they had back in September, much more simplified. Now there's been stunting because they feel they may be stunting themselves right out of position.
Well, that's a great point. We'll see how quickly it works. Covington almost intercepted by Marquise Anderson, and now here's a situation as two players have to be separated. That's Santana Moss, who was involved with Santee Hall. But they don't get the pickoff right there. But that's 2 errant passes by Covington to start the second half.
Yeah, Ron, you can see right away that UCLA is hugging the receivers a little bit closer. Marquise Anderson's right on Santana Moss. Had the interception, dropped the football. Key third down right here for UCLA's defense.
Well, as you can see, Moss just got cut off. 7 of 7 today on third down conversions. Here comes the blitz right up the middle. They're not going to get this one. And that is Womar, who comes up to make the tackle. Ramuji Womar, Jr. out of Covina, California.
And I mentioned again, you saw it first when they came out of the locker room. They came out with a little more zip and that they wanted to play this second half.
Yeah.
UCLA. And now Adrian Carson's talking about adjustments, the blitz here and the sacking of Covington.
And they're going to get this in good field position as Rock gets the punt, goes inside the 40, now inside the 35. And UCLA is going to open the second half with a very good field position. 36 yards, and the punt is all at 10 on the return.
3 pass attempts on that series by Miami, and UCLA was up for the challenge. Now Cade McNown and the offense have to do what they do best. Bill Miller's defense trying to get some type of play out of the front 4 here. Deshaun Foster. We'll see a lot more of him in the second half, Ron.
Yep, Deshaun Foster opens the second half, lined up 7 yards behind his quarterback, and he gets the handoff. There he goes up the middle, has 5, cuts it to the outside, 10, 15, 20. He is loose and out of bounds, and it's going to be first and goal, UCLA inside the 10, just like that. 26 yards by the freshman.
And Bob Toledo talked about the vision of Deshaun Foster and reading a hole, and as he started to the right side, then he cut back to the left side, Watch this blocking setup, and then he shows good speed getting around the corner. Finally, Marquise Fitzgerald forced him out of bounds. Power running back.
So we have not played 1 minute in the second half. 3 and out for Miami, and all of a sudden UCLA with a 1st and goal knocking on the door. Deshaun Foster hit by Matt Sweeney. McNown got taken down as well, as they thought he still had the football.
Well, the one thing Miami's front four will do, and they've done it since Howard Snellenberger's been here, they roar up the field, and they get in gaps, and the front four is forcing everything for Miami, and Sweeney made the play, and you're right. Cade McNown was hit by someone else.
But Devon Lewis, number 92, was all over him. 2nd down and goal, the new line of scrimmage. He's out at the 13. McNown, they throw the screen back. This is Foster being pursued from behind and cannot run away from the tackle of Edward Reed. And that's where the speed of Miami is something that has always been prevalent with their defense.
If Edward Reed doesn't make this play, I believe he's got a touchdown, because Edward Reed was sitting on it, but he had to stop and go to make the play on Deshaun Foster. Cade McNown rolling away, now throws the ball back. It's a low catch by Deshaun Foster, but you can see Edward Reed's play, number 20.
3rd down. The line of scrimmage is the 14. It's 3rd and goal. McNown got Farmer right over the middle. Touchdown, UCLA. Danny Farmer, you could have gone onto the field and said, hey, guys, you better watch your 87. And that's who it was, and that's who scored.
Chris Ferris with a nice job of holding out Derek Ham. Did a nice job blocking the fine defensive end, the sack leader, 2nd nationally for Miami. No pressure on Cade McNown.
Chris Saylor to attempt the extra point. He's got it. And I mean, without playing 2 minutes in the second half, the Bruins go back on top, 24-21. We'll take a break as Farmer has another touchdown reception.
During the holidays, everybody's got a million stops to make. Better make your first one at the Napa Holiday Event. We've got everything on your list, like a handy all-cut tool that'll cut through just about anything. A Napa 14-piece screwdriver set with a free utility knife. And a 23-piece lighted screwdriver set. Napa, over 200,000 parts, and every one's important.
The new Acura RL has distinctive styling to appeal to your elegant side. A performance-tuned suspension to satisfy your assertive side. And a sophisticated front and side airbag system to protect both sides. The new RL from Acura. Know someone who could use a nice home improvement gift? The Home Depot has everything you need to fix up your holiday gift list. The Home Depot, the toy store for big kids.
His father played in the National Football League, and his uncle played in the National Football League. And he has played on 2 national championship volleyball teams at UCLA. His name is Danny Farmer, and he is as complete as any receiver in America in college football, and he has proven his worth here this afternoon.
Ron, he led UCLA as a freshman in receiving, so it shows you the kind of career he's had.
Mike, if it's a boxing match, that's a real gut shot right there that Miami took.
The reason Miami was successful in the first half is because they came out and they punched. and they threw some shots. They got to come right back with that same type of game plan.
In other words, Edgerrin James has got to start getting the football.
Yeah, it's still Edgerrin James's game, and they run the ball very successfully.
Dave McNown visits with his head coach just for a moment. UCLA back on top by 3. 13:06 to play third quarter. James 22 carries, 173 yards. And this time they lock onto him after a gain of a couple. It's Ken Coker, freshman from San Diego, number 97.
Edgerrin James had an excellent first half run. Shows you the power on the first touchdown and the speed getting around the corner and getting in the end zone. Missed tackles by UCLA. Try to arm tackle him. They can't bring him down, too powerful. And then his second touchdown. Look at the cutting and as he's moving downfield to get in the end zone. Impressive first half.
Boy, I'm telling you, gets the handoff again and runs into his own blocker. And this time, Santee Hall is going to wrap him up. And it's going to be a third down Miami. And they're going to need about 6 to pick up the first down.
Again, they come right back. Three passes on the first drive, then come back with Edgerrin James and 2 runs. UCLA's defense playing a little bit more aggressive in this early third quarter.
Well, Adrian said that, you know, the coaches lectured them at halftime talking about missed tackles, and we talked about it.
And they're tightening up on the receivers, Ron. They're not giving them those little outs, so they may have to turn this into a fade, deep route.
See the pressure coming up the middle, gets his pass, and that one is way overthrown. And for some reason, now Hall was putting pressure on, but Covington has not thrown a good pass in the second half.
Well, again, I go back to UCLA pressuring the receivers a little bit more, being up on them tighter, not giving the big cushions that they had in the first half.
Andy Crossland last time did not get away a very good kick. He is kicking into the wind here in the third quarter. And the left footer, look at the wind hold that thing up, and it's a good coverage kick. And a flag is down.
Well, this is an interesting call here now.
Did they rough the kicker, or is it running into Mike?
They hit his foot. Tried to pull off. Going to see just as he kicks the football. Now watch. Number 27. It's Todd McBride. Tried to pull off. And I think it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Whether you re-kick or not, that's what they're going to do.
They're going to ask him to do it again. Into this wind. I'm not sure Crossland can get away a much better kick.
5 yards. Run into the kicker. Return team. It's a 5-yard penalty. It remains.
You know, as I look at Miami, Ron, and again go back to the first half, they're already in a bowl game. Mike Ron, PC, Bo, and they're not playing for the national championship. So this is a team that can take some chances to try to spoil UCLA's season.
Well, the Bruins have got to return on this time, but it's a wobbly kick off the side of his foot. Not going to be a return, and it is touched dead just inside the 40-yard line. 32 yards on the kick. Well, coming up on Thursday over on The Deuce, the 8th annual Home Depot College Football Awards from Disney MGM Studio Theater of the Stars. All of college football's top stars are going to be on hand. Chris Lee and Kirk help hand out the Maxwell, the Doak Walker, the Davey O'Brien, the Jim Thorpe, and the Coach of the Year Award, plus much more. Thursday night, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from the Orange Bowl in Miami. And UCLA has already scored once, and they have the ball back in good field position at the 39. McNown going to go long, and he's got wide open Polly Dixon, and he will catch it for the touchdown. We haven't played 4 minutes, and UCLA has got 2 touchdowns on the board.
Well, Bob Toledo said about Cade McNown, he has leadership qualities that bails us out of jams. And you talk about bailing this UCLA team out here. With this throw, he stepped up in the pocket, made the fake, has good blocking, but watch the presence of Cade McNown. He steps up inside, just rears back and throws that football, takes that hit, and Brian Polydixon with the touchdown catch.
Nick Ward coming into the picture, but not enough because, again, these receivers for UCLA are very big. Polydixon at 6'5", and Danny Farmer at 6'4". And we have 11:23 to play in the third quarter, and our new score, the Bruins 31 and Miami 21.
Exhilarating performance and the ultimate in luxury, because we believe a great luxury car should do more than just take people where they want to go. It should bring them to their feet. The new RL from Acura.
Rebel, rebel.
Enter the Cannon Super Sunday Sweeps at your participating Cannon dealer, and you may win a trip to the Super Bowl.
Big Bob's Exterminating. Spiders? Oh, we do spiders. Scorpions? I love a challenge. Centipedes? Centipedes are our speciality. The queen centipede. Bring her on.
The bugs are back. Centipede on CD-ROM. Take on 5 all-new worlds or play classic style. Get your hands on Centipede for PC CD-ROM.
Well, maybe we could talk about this.
The top rushers in college football have all won the Heisman. Will Ricky Williams take his place in history? The Heisman Trophy Award Presentation Show, Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN.
UCLA now back up in the ball game, and it's a 10-point margin. And how did the guys in Tucson react? And everybody's feeling a little bit looser now in Tucson.
There's the pass to Polydixon and for the touchdown pass, and they just keep getting more people out there in Tucson.
Like this UCLA team has got some great-looking wide receivers, don't they? Big kids that can run and go get the ball.
Great quarterback that can get him the ball.
Yeah.
And a good inside running game.
Well, the coaches said that Polydixon is going to remind you a lot of J.J. Stokes.
Well, he does.
And he does. Long strides.
6'5", 210.
This kick, again, is going to be out of the back of the end zone, or right at the base. And let's check in again with Larry Beal.
All right, Ron, Air Force and BYU. The Force doesn't throw much, but when they do, look out. Little inside screen, and Matt Farmer's got it, and he is gone. Falcons take a 14-13 lead. Under 4 minutes to go, but BYU is driving late. Army-Navy play resuming after a delay caused by a collapsed railing at the vet, and Army leads it in the final seconds, 34-30.
Ryan Bendejo still not in his pads. He's not going to play anymore today. Injured back in the first quarter. See, that long touchdown by Air Force has been a big day for the Farmers everywhere.
Oh. Farmers are happy all over
I'm telling you,
America.
it's well, the sun's out. It's making hay. 31-21, UCLA, as we go under 11 to play third quarter. Well, Gonzalez, who was injured back in the first half, and I think this speaks volumes right here. The focus by Miami in the second half is nowhere close to what it was in the first 2 quarters.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
No, I agree with you, Ron, and it pretty well all started at just before halftime, and they've come out now in the second half. Credit UCLA and Bob Toledo and Nick Adi with the good adjustments here in the second half. But
well, Miami's first 7 plays of the game, they picked up 43 yards. They have 7 yards in 7 plays in the second half. James breaks by a couple of tackles and will take it out of bounds in the vicinity. Let's see, they're going to spot him out close to the 30. Hall was there defensively, and that's not enough for the first down.
And the question was, Ron, you know, how would Edgerrin James fare in the second half? He had a lot of carries in the first half. Now, Butch Davis's ball club's still in this ball game, but they're going to go back to the same things that were good to them in the first half. They had good mix. Run game, Scott Covington with a quick passing game.
Pitch to James. You see the blocks on the outside, and James will have the first down plus about 8 more yards. Nick Aliotis, defensive coordinator, paces on the sideline.
Ron, what happens on this play is Miami brings Andre King in motion, number 84, and as he comes back in motion, he's going to block on the outside defensive end right here, so he gives him a block, and he gets the corner for Edgerrin James. It's a drive. It's very, very important for this Miami football team. They got to put points on the board now.
Counter play. James waits for the block, and Nick Williams can only do so much with his man as Woma will wind up running him out of bounds. And it was Hall who did a nice job of just kind of slowing up everything back to the inside.
Now Miami going back to that same style the first half. It's Edgerrin James time, and you keep running Edgerrin James, and then you get yourself a play-action pass and try to hit a big play against this UCLA defense.
You also go back to the same point that we made a couple times in the first half. Your best defense against UCLA is to keep their doggone offense off the field.
On the sideline in the sun.
Yeah. James again bounces it outside on the left, will turn the corner, and is caught by the shoulder pads by Marquise Anderson.
And UCLA's getting fooled a little bit by Edgerrin James's speed. I don't think they think he's as fast as he is, because Marquise Anderson broke down, and then all of a sudden Edgerrin James was almost around the corner on him.
You know who's been non-existent today? Miami always in their offensive plan. Franks and Fulcher, the 2 tight ends. I don't think they have a ball, do they?
No, they've been blocking most of the... Fulcher caught one. They've been blocking most of the first half and here early in the third quarter.
You see the blitz up the middle. The bootleg, and the ball is thrown errantly, and look downfield. Frank says, oh, I was open for a moment. Couldn't get the ball to him, though, too much pressure.
No, too much pressure, Ron. He didn't have enough time. He did a good fake, but UCLA wasn't buying the fake at all. And now Miami's not picking up third down plays. I mean, they're just not converting on third down.
Ryan Rock goes back deep. He's looking into a sun that is beginning to get lower here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. You can see it's a tough sky where he's looking. Wobbly spiral into the wind, takes a Miami bounce, and there'll be no return on this one. Going to go dead at the 13. Well, the latest ESPN magazine is on the newsstands now. Look at Bronco linebacker Bill Romanowski on the cover, as well as another great linebacker in the making, Penn State's LeVar Arrington, plus the handicapping of the Heisman, all in the current edition of ESPN magazine.
Handicap it all you want, but it's going to Ricky Williams.
I don't disagree with you.
Now, Cade McNown, very, very deserving. And Ricky Williams has had a super year.
And career. 10-point lead. They fake the run, and he's going to go long again, but this time Miami is up for it, and Paulie Dixon was not the guy who was behind. It was Marquise Fitzgerald. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
I've got some news on Deshaun Foster, and one of the reasons we haven't heard a lot from him in this game, Ron, a mild concussion. Late second quarter. Obviously, he's been cleared to play because he's in the game, but he did not have all of his faculties with him at halftime in the locker room. I've kept a close eye on him here in the third quarter. He goes from series to series. He knows where he is and who all of his friends are, but when things are moving so quickly between the hashes here, you need to wonder just exactly how much into this game he is.
So boy, injury in this ball game for UCLA has cost them with some key personnel. He gets the pitch on the option. There is nowhere to go. And again, I make the point, you're almost better running right at Miami defensively than stringing it out because they always have good lateral pursuit.
That's about the third option play. The first one they gained some yardage on, but the last two have been stopped. Quincy Hips, number 90, makes the play. You make the quarterback force him to pitch quick, and then Quincy Hips is out there, number 90, starts making the play on Deshaun Foster.
You saw how many people, though, watch how many people Foster makes miss. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then they're like glue.
Jermaine Lewis comes back in a tailback. 3rd down and 16. They're going to take it all the way to the 26-yard line, and they're going to quick kick. And this ball, does it take a big UCLA bounce? Inside the 40-yard line, going to go dead at the 37. Cade McNown did it, and a flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
I think it's offside on Miami.
And you know that they're not going to change this.
No,
that's a 53-yard quick kick.
They'll take this. They'll turn this down. Turn it down. Another good play called by Bob Toledo. The old quick kick. Reminds you of Randall Cunningham. He used to be a punter and quarterback for UNLV.
Offsides against the defense. 5-yard penalty to the previous spot. Remains 3rd down.
You know, I think what Bob Toledo's thinking here, Ron, is, you know, he's got this powerful offensive football team. And why not? I mean, he's playing for a national championship. He doesn't want to pull the reins on his offense. Even though this works well with Cade McNown, quick kick and a good gainer, they may be able to pick up the 1st down here.
Miami comes with the blitz. They pick it up. And McNown, now he's running for his life. It is in and out of the hands of Farmer. Farmer got turned around. He took off back downfield.
As I said, should have taken the quick hit. Well, but they almost had the 1st down because Danny Farmer almost made a big play here. And another nice job by Cade McNown, sliding outside and finding, and he motions Danny Farmer to head downfield and just gets all he can get on it. Danny Farmer working up the football field. He sees the change.
That ball was barely tipped by Leonard Myers. Now here's another point. Saylor has a huge wind behind him, so if he just gets he gets a spiral up in the air, he could wind up with another 50-yard boot. Not another, but a 50-yard boot, and he doesn't, end over end. But it takes a UCLA bounce, and this one's going to go even deeper. That ball is going to go dead at the 20-yard line as Santana Moss did not come over and field it.
Worked out.
65 yards on the punt. College basketball coming up later today on ESPN and ESPN2. 7 Eastern on the Deuce. Purdue takes on Xavier in a top 25 battle. Well, back here on ESPN, NC State beats 4th-ranked Duke. That's followed by Arkansas against Oklahoma at 9. 65 yards on the punt.
Well, it worked out well, and you make a good point with the wind behind your back, making that change in the call to give yourself a chance to make the 1st down.
Edgerrin James breaks a tackle, breaks another, and is still coming up the sideline. And you see why he is not flashy, but boy, he is an awfully good running back.
Ron, when you watch this play, no one wraps up Edgerrin James. I mean, they're bouncing off him like pinball machine. Nobody wraps him up and takes him to the ground. And when you got a back like him, you better wrap him up and take him all the way down.
Junior, 6'1", 220 pounds. He's got 224 yards and 30 carries. Counter Trey. You see the tight end come around with the block, and that paves the way as he is caught again by the shoulder pad by Marquise Anderson. But that was Daniel Franks, number 88, the tight end, who got out front to block.
Well, you lose contain. UCLA's losing contain on this. Marquise Anderson, another big play by him because he just reaches out and grabs a hold. Franks with that block, and you watch number 7. He just reaches out, gets the back of the jersey of Edgerrin James before he could turn the corner. But it's still 5 yards.
Second down, and now that clock moves. It's 6:59, 6:58 to play, third quarter. UCLA back on top. They now lead by 10. Covington going to have it. That is his first completion, I believe, of the second half. Is meant to Andre Kings. And Larry Beal, let's check with you.
Yeah, the wacky whack. Air Force and BYU in the title game. 14-30, but they missed the extra point. BYU gets the ball back with a chance to tie. 1:43 to go.
A missed extra point.
Faring better in Las Vegas than they did last time we saw them.
That one, the first play from scrimmage, we knew what was going to happen. As this play, Tony White is there to deny.
Tony White. No gain on the play. Second down.
You know, when you look at this defense from UCLA, they've had 31 sacks this year. We talk about the pressure that they put on, turning the ball over. But today, this third quarter, they've owned the Miami offense, but now Miami looks like they're back in gear.
Brendan Ayanbadejo looking on from the sidelines. In case you joined us late, he was injured back in the first quarter. And the starter at outside linebacker has not been back in the game. On top for Moser, overthrown, and Ryan Rock with the cover.
Ron, this is the big difference I see in the second half here. UCLA crowding the receivers a little bit more, not giving them the cushions they gave in the first half. And when you run an out against a big cushion, you run the out. But all of a sudden, when 33 Ryan Rock crowds Aaron Moser, it turns into a fade. And Scott Covington tries to loft the ball to him, just can't get it to him.
So it's third down. Line to make is the 38.5 of UCLA. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up, pass right over the middle, got him there, and it's Andre King. Marquise Anderson made the tackle at the 20-yard line, but it's good for 31.
Same thing again, Ron. Marquise Anderson pressing Andre King, but he lets him inside now. Now you can't let a receiver inside on that play. He's clearly beat. Scott Covington with a good throw, and Miami in business. Tried to strip him.
Andre is a sophomore from right up the road in Fort Lauderdale.
Always one to press the receiver, force him outside.
Edgerrin James. Let's see, big number 96, Anthony Fletcher, jump up and grab him. Anthony is a freshman from San Dimas, California.
San Dimas, huh? Where's that at, do you know?
I have no idea.
Ron, Larry Atkins talking to him the other day on the phone, the safety for UCLA's defense. He talked about the coaches telling them and selling them on the fact that everyone in America that's watching college football is going to get to see all three of our teams, the undefeated teams, play, and they're going to judge for themselves. And that's why we got to give a great effort in this football game.
Covington scrambling for his life now, gets inside, one tackler, and takes it down the sideline. Tony White, he just ran right by him. Ran by his outstretched arm.
You talk about a smart play here. Ryan Neese, number 47, read that screen right off the bat. Now you're going to see the screen to Edgerrin James. Now Ryan Neese hooks up with him and runs right with him, so there's no screen receiver to get the ball to. So Scott Covington does the only other thing he can do, run the football.
It was a good job by Damon Neely. Didn't get an entire block, but he came back to help his quarterback. Big 300-pounder. Ninth play of the drive coming up here, third down. They need to take it to the 10. Here comes the blitz. They picked it up, and the pass thrown behind Darryl Jones.
Ron, he's open early. And Scott Covington has Darryl Jones sitting wide open. Just can't get him the football. Didn't see him. What that is it's a cluster set. where you bring all three receivers close by. And you're going to see number 1 sitting right here, wide open. Just can't get the ball to Darryl Jones.
32 yards.
32-yard field goal attempt by Andy Crossland. 7 of 10 on field goals, his longest 41 this year. Ball is down, and the left footer pulls this one. That is wide to the right.
You only get so many chances to upset UCLA, and the chances for Miami are slipping away because their offense is too good.
Timeout on the field, 4:20 left in the third quarter. Still a 10-point Bruin lead.
Having a hometown to call your own is something pretty special. In hometowns all over the South, we're helping people reach their dreams and protect the ones they love. For life and health insurance, one company stands tall above all the rest.
Liberty National, part of our hometown.
TJ and I were just walking through the park, and out of nowhere, a little boy comes up to me and says, "Can I have your autograph?" I looked around and said, "Me? Why me?" He says, "Well, my dad and I were in the restaurant the other day, and you're our Hooters girl." I love my job. You know, Hooters has provided me the opportunity to pursue my education in broadcast journalism. One day, Tom Brokaw, I'm going to have your job. And TJ, he never has to worry about where his next bone's coming from. Come see me at Hooters.
Before your team goes to war, watch ESPN2's Bowl Selection Special with Chris, Lee, and Kurt to get the lowdown on the Bowl Showdown. Bowl Selection Special at 6, tomorrow on ESPN2.
It's ESPN Sunday Night Football. This week, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and the Vikings can clinch the NFC Central title. But the Bears are looking to play spoiler. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Coverage begins at 8:15.
I gotta watch that game.
10-point margin, in the Miami Hurricanes miss an opportunity. 32-yard field goal, certainly within the reach of Andy Crossland, but he just yanked it. The left footer pushed it right. So the Bruins could really put a nail in the situation here if they were to come up with another one of those long-distance strikes. As you watch Farmer in motion, but they'll go with the running play, and it's Jermaine Lewis who is back in the lineup, and Michael Smith will make the stop on him.
Rushes. He stopped by Michael Smith. Pick up the score.
I think Bob Toledo would be very, very pleased right here with about 12 plays, maybe even more, and about 6 or 7 minutes on a drive.
And you and I were talking about last night. He was being interviewed, and the questions were how many points do you have to win by, and sometimes that can add fire to the opponent too, but he wasn't asking the questions. He was just trying to answer them.
Jermaine Lewis. Michael Smith again making the tackle.
Gain 17 yards. First down for the Bruins at the 41.
Want me to do it or what?
Mike Grieve, Ron, with a nice block again. The motion man for UCLA has made some big blocks on the line of scrimmage of the defense, across the line of scrimmage. Here they come again.
See the tight end in motion in the running play. Lewis will take it just across the 45-yard line. That's a gain of about 5.5. Lewis on the tackle of Jermaine Lewis.
That was Mike Grieve again coming in motion, and he's blocking Dan Morgan, the linebacker. Here comes Grieve in motion, and again he'll block Dan Morgan on the defensive side of the ball because of where he's lined up, coming across quickly on the linebacker. He's been very valuable in this offense today.
And he caught that big pass back in the first quarter, Mike. Counter play, Jermaine Lewis, and flag goes down. Derek Ham is the guy who grabs him. And it looks as though that was thrown by the umpire. We all know what that means. Well, in just a few moments over on ABC at 4:30 Eastern, it's the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. K-State against Texas A&M from St. Louis. That's followed by Mississippi State and Tennessee at the SEC Championship game at 8 o'clock. That ball game set for the Georgia Dome in Atlanta.
Ron is talking about defensively, they caused and recovered 21 fumbles. UCLA talking about their offense has only fumbled 4 times. So, I mean, that again, you see the difference in you only have 4 fumbles and your defense gets you 21.
Deshaun Foster comes back into the lineup for UCLA. Second down at 14. McNown, the throwback screen to Foster, and if they get one block out there, which they did not get, and it's Leonard Myers who played off the blocker beautifully. If they get him out of the way, there was a lot of area to run.
Yeah, Brian Pollock just didn't get to the defensive back. He fell down. And that was the block you were talking about. If number 60, Brian Pollock, gets the block, now you're off to the races. But watch him. He's going to lose his balance and fall down right here.
Leonard starts backtracking.
Yeah.
See, he played it very wisely.
Leonard said, I can see that 325-pound guy coming.
Third down at 10. They got to take it to the 49 of Miami. Grebe in motion. Going to go long, got Farmer wide open, and on this side, he's got Melsley wide open for the UCLA touchdown. He had 2 6-pointers. He could make his choice. That's amazing.
Ron, when you come back and watch this play on the replay, Mike Grebe again. Tight end came in motion and sealed the corner so Cade McNown could get outside. Blocked, made his block, and then came off and shielded Cade McNown again. So Mike Grebe with another big play. Watch him come in motion here. There's his block right here. Now watch, he gets a block, now he comes off, and he gets set for a second block to give Cade McNown.
See, Farmer breaks open, but he's going the other way, and look how wide open Melsby was. He had his choice of 6-pointers.
Without a doubt.
Saylor with the extra point, he's got it. And with 1:28 left in the third quarter, the Miami Hurricanes are looking at a different UCLA football team than they saw back in the first half. 38-21. 21 unanswered in this third quarter for the Bruins.
You are right. Melsby's wide open, and Danny Farmer on the backside. You talk about him working against Edward Reed, the freshman, gets a stop-and-go move, and you can see there's nobody guarding him either but the official.
Out to practice.
Yeah. And on the other side, it was the same thing with Brad Melsby. See, they throw deep well. Miami, there's a lot of their routes deep.
UCLA.
The UCLA. The deep routes are excellent. And Cade McNown, a very solid deep thrower.
But you know also, I mentioned several times in the ballgame, they got so many good-looking wide receivers. It's like they call central casting and say, I want a guy 6'4", 215 who runs a 4.5 and can leap 41 inches in the air.
I agree with you, and I'm going to add, too, tight ends. This Mike Grebe has had a fantastic football game.
Davenport and Jones are back deep. Grebe, 3 catches for 95 for him and a touchdown.
And Ron, you have to mention Chris Saylor, too, because every kickoff after the score, Miami starts on the 20-yard line.
1:24 to play, third quarter, and what was a very raucous and loud stadium in the first and second quarter. Here in the third, it has really, really gotten quiet because UCLA has done that to the crowd. First half drives, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns. Second half, 4 drives, 88 yards for the Hurricanes. That's Fulcher in motion. James right up the middle, breaking tackles as he goes along the way. Jason Stevens from his strong safety spot, and Larry Atkins combining.
Ron, when you grade a quarterback, everybody wants to know who's the best quarterback in the country is. Right here, Cade McNown, because how do you grade a quarterback other than winning? He's on a 20-game winning streak. He bails UCLA out of jams. He makes nice short throws. He's a great play-action quarterback, ball handler, and a deep thrower. in a house that many good quarterbacks have played in.
Yeah, that's for sure. James breaks a couple of tackles, breaks another one, and he's free. He'll pick up the first down and add another 12 yards. And the defensive coaches for UCLA are coming off the sideline and really screaming at their players.
Well, Marquise Anderson just beat the turf down. He just kept slamming his fist in the turf after Edgerrin James ran through his
See what he's
tackle.
saying?
Yeah,
Lock up.
Wrap up.
Wrap up.
That's all you have to do. It's easier said than done, though. First half, he had tremendous success, 173 yards.
It's not bad here.
No, UCLA slowed him down a little bit. They don't have the mix that they had in the first half. I don't feel their offense in tune in the second half like they were in the first half. Miami.
James right up the middle. Has 5, has 10, and he's off at the 30, at the 25, and Jason Bell finally saved a touchdown at the 23.
Well, UCLA's seeing a great effort by Edgerrin James. They've seen a lot of great tailbacks this year in their season, but I don't know if they faced one like Edgerrin James.
What Edgerrin is doing this afternoon is not only gaining respect on the West Coast because people haven't seen him as he comes out of the game to a standing ovation. This young man's going to be on a lot of preseason All-American teams, Mike.
Without a doubt. And Ron, he is just really, when you start talking about his attributes, you got to mention many.
This is Davenport. Tries to turn the corner, and he will. Running down the sideline, Davenport. Touchdown, Miami. They finally said, look.
Again, missed tackles.
Timeout. There were 2 officials standing right on it. The gentleman in the end zone line is the one who finally said, here we go.
The play is a touchdown.
But they were very cautious about signaling.
We're going to look at it. Davenport down the sidelines.
I don't know. Did he reach down and touch the cone, or... Anyway, it is signaled a touchdown as Crossland with the extra point. And we have 18 seconds left in the third quarter. Yards, 4 plays, a minute and 10 seconds, and the touchdown run by Davenport again.
Najee Davenport, number 4, is going to come outside, but you're going to see UCLA getting some shots at him again. Nick Williams with a nice block, number 36. Good effort getting in the end zone. Larry Atkins trying to make the hit that stops him.
Oh, his foot hit the cone. His foot hit the cone. So, I mean, just the edge of it, which means he hit the corner. Well, coming up tomorrow on ESPN2, College Football's Bowl Selection Special. Join Chris, Lee, and Kirk for your first look at each and every bowl game, including the Bowl Championship Series and the National Championship game out at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Sievers will kick it off. Danny Farmer getting some rest on the sideline because he knows he's about to go right back to war. And again, it's a short pooch kick. Soon as the ball is caught, good heavens, Fletcher, the freshman tight end. Mike Rump, the backup cornerback, just is all over him.
Wow. Bill Miller said, now Mike Rump is going to be a great defensive back for Miami. Brian Fletcher will attest to that, his hitting ability.
"11 seconds left, third quarter." Keith Brown. Edward Reed grabbed a hold of him, and then Michael Smith will close the door, and that is the end of the third quarter. So there's a timeout. We will take it with them as we head to the final 15. It's UCLA by 10. The Bruins 38 and the Hurricanes 28.
Night, Sean. Good game.
Hey, thanks, man.
Eggs are crazy. What's on there almost?
The game's never over. NFL Extreme. It's a 5-on-5 gridiron free-for-all.
PlayStation.
I'd like to try a whitening toothpaste, but I need fluoride and tartar protection.
No problem. Introducing Aquafresh Whitening Plus Tartar Protection. It's proven to reduce tartar and fight cavities.
Well, how's Aquafresh for whitening?
Sensational. Aquafresh's patented Tri-Clean formula gently breaks up stains to get teeth whiter. Not even Rembrandt whitens better.
Sounds terrific.
Aquafresh Whitening Plus Tartar Protection. Safe to use every day for dazzling whiter teeth.
The new Acura RL has distinctive styling to appeal to your elegant side. A performance-tuned suspension to satisfy your assertive side. And a sophisticated front and side airbag system to protect both sides. The new RL from Acura.
Let's get going. Okay, there is no time to lose. Subscribers are waiting. We have to send out these official ESPN the Magazine duffel bags ASAP. Right, buddy?
Oh, ESPN the Magazine duffel bag. All right.
Subscribe now to ESPN the Magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold with unbelievable photos, honest interviews, previews, and predictions. The teams to beat and the players to watch.
Ralph, I'm begging you, man.
Wally,
help me.
Believe we're giving these away for free?
Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. That's 66% off the newsstand price. And with your paid subscription, you'll get your own ESPN the Magazine duffel bag. Absolutely free.
I wonder what lucky new subscriber is going to get this one, huh?
No subscriber is going to get that one unless you put it in a box.
Call now, 1-800-540-1155.
Well, we're back as we head to the final 15 minutes, 38-28. And, Mike, we've talked about the offensive displays of both teams. These could, the coaches would be very pleased for end-of-game stats.
Without a doubt, and both of them teetering on 500, and they'll get over that. But a good mix by both these teams' offenses.
We could wind up with 600 for both, 600 plus. With UCLA with 21 points in that third quarter. Cade McNown on first down. Polly Dixon at the 40. Breaks off a tackle and loses the football. Recovered by Miami. Al Blades makes the recovery. Something that this football team does not do very often.
No, they've given up 4 fumbles and lost their 5th one. Brian Polly Dixon, the wide receiver, trying to get extra yards, coughs it up.
The thing is, he withstood the biggest hit and then had it knocked away.
Yeah, he withstood the hit of Edward Reed, number 20. You see him wide open across the middle. Here comes the hit by number 20, Ed Reed. And then he just has the ball tipped out of his hands.
So Miami will scrimmage from deep in their own territory, but they don't care because they've got the football back. And they kept the Bruins out of the end zone. Edgerrin James again. Davenport, I beg your pardon, number 4, the freshman from here in Miami, is in the game replacing Edgerrin James for a moment.
Here's Blades. Big play. That's all you can ask your defense to do is give you the football back, and Miami's put their offense back on the field. Scott Covington's had a quiet second half.
Davenport, they stretch it out. Breaks by the one tackle, the ankle high hit. Ryan Neese finally makes the stop.
This is one of those games when UCLA's coaches look at this tape that they'll count the missed tackles by their defensive football team. Ryan Neese, who played safety in high school, they've moved him to linebacker, expected him to be maybe a backup, but he's been a starter for him. 65 tackles, second on the team with 5 sacks, so he's had a productive year for this UCLA defense.
Hurricanes very tight when the offensive line splits. Davenport loses the football. Got back on it himself.
Very, very fortunate there. Edgerrin James walking back up the sideline, trying to get back in this ball game. Najee Davenport, who's had a pretty good football game, tries to make the cut back, and the ball just comes out. Anthony Fletcher, number 96, had a chance at it.
Davenport, big opening right up the middle, and he will take it close to the 30. Going to be third down. They'll need to achieve the 34 to keep it going. Robert Hall tripped him up. And coming back into the game, the reason for the big applause is for Edgerrin James.
He's averaging about 8 yards a carry, so you're happy when he gets back on the football field.
Billy Piper breathing hard there. 36 carries, 288 yards for Edgerrin James. Play action, going to go long. He's got a man open. Santana Moss, and he'll take it the distance. Touchdown, Miami.
Fake by Scott Covington, and Santana Moss got Ryan Rock on his hip on the corner route, and then avoids the shoestring tackle for the touchdown.
Crossland tries to make it a 3-point UCLA lead. And the kick is good, and the Miami Hurricanes will not go away with 12:34 left to play in our ball game. So let's take a timeout. UCLA 38, Miami 35.
Saddle up, lock and load. Eliminate them.
Let's move these people out. Definitely feeling aggressive tendencies. 3-round emergency power.
Star Trek Insurrection, rated PG. Join the rebellion. December 11th, only in theaters.
To the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on ESPN.
There's a place where you don't have to play the game to win. Where you belong to your ambition and nothing else matters. There's a place where you can do what you love and love what you do. No limits. Welcome to the club. K-Swiss.
38-35 at UCLA, and as you can see, just an absolute world of time left in this football game.
Ron, what makes this play is Edgerrin James came into the football game. Everybody thought he'd carry the football. Line does a nice job of showing run. And then all of a sudden, Scott Covington with a good fake hits Santana Moss on a corner route in front of Ryan Rock. And this place is rocking.
All those people that had headed toward the parking lot came back. Rock at the 1-yard line. Now everybody is rocking. What a hit on the special teams by Marquise Fitzgerald. You know, the momentum in this football game, and you can't say one drive's any more important to other than others, but I think UCLA needs to take this crowd out quickly with, look at that hit by Marquise.
Well, they're capable of it. They've been a big play offensive football team all year.
This crowd is deafening now, and this stadium is not nearly full. Movement on the offensive line, possibly affected by the crowd. It's going to be a procedure penalty.
Dead ball, offside, offense. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Our aerial views are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. It was right here at the 1960 Orange Bowl when the Goodyear Blimp first provided live aerial coverage at a sporting event. And you can see what a magnificent day we have in Miami, Florida. Sun beginning to fall to the west of the stadium here. And inside, like I said, those that were about to leave turned around quickly and came back. Chevin Marshall steps up to make the hit. It's going to be a 2nd down and 14.
Ron, you're talking about Chevin Marshall, a true freshman out of South Dade High School. Miami coaches figured that he would be a second-team player, but they didn't think that he'd play in this ball game because of the injury to Nate Webster.
Sean Stewart is the man who was shaken up. One other word on Chevin Marshall and his plane. And I think Butch Davis made a statement again to his football team. Nate Webster not only had a turf toe, but he suspended Nate for this football game because of missing study halls. And he said, I don't care how big the game, everybody's got to stay within the rules of what we had for our team. So, again, Butch Davis making constantly a statement to his football team that that's the way it's going to be here at Miami.
And you can see they're getting better and better.
They're one recruiting class, I think, away, Mike. Boy, now, look at the palms up. A lot of concern on the faces of the Arizona Wildcats, and for good reason. Because momentum is trying to shift back toward the gentleman wearing the orange jersey. And the defensive players asking that crowd to, hey, stand up and help us.
Ron, now you got the backup center coming in. Code. Troy Danoff.
Deshaun Foster lines up at tailback. Play action to him and a quick out pass, and there's Farmer. Nate Brooks pushes him out of bounds, but there's a silencer just about any time you want to go to it.
Yeah, Cade McNown hasn't been on a 20-game win streak for nothing. Danny Farmer working against Nate Brooks. In Bill Miller's defense today, they're undermanned a little bit with some injuries to Myers, Webster, we talked about. Farmer getting open in front of Brooks.
Deshaun Foster, the lone setback. That's Grebe in motion. They run behind him, and Foster hit at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be knocked down for no gain. Dan Morgan is there to quiet him. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, just a reminder, before we kick the ball off to start this game, I mentioned that this was really a gut check for the Hurricane defense. Remember, coming off their worst loss since 1940, the first couple series were going to make a difference. They did make a difference. All 11 men on the field. You know, it's not 10 years ago, and they're not playing for the national title, but they had to come in here and establish a new reputation after that horrible loss. I'd say they passed the gut check test, Ron.
They have made a statement, Adrian. You're right. Pass, got it complete. Deep over the middle, and that's Mike Grieve, the tight end. And he is over midfield to the 49. Al Blades and Morgan combine on the stop.
Two things, Ron. Cade McNown with an excellent ball fake. Mike Grieve just continues to impress this crowd with his play. He blocks. He's unselfish. He works down the football field. Cade McNown knows he's got to deliver this football fast because Chevin Marshall right in his face. Mike Grieve makes the catch.
Good job by Oscar Cabrera, number 59, the sophomore out of Los Angeles. You can see him pulling with the pickup block. Nothing here as Juro Price, who was a tailback, and they've moved him to fullback, gets the carry, but not going to move the sticks very much on that one.
Well, Cade McNown's got the benefit. He's got, as you mentioned, great wide receivers. His running backs catch the ball very well on screens. His tight ends are active. And you look at the distribution here. He's spreading the ball all over the football field.
I thought the hurricane came through in September. Everything just blew out of the booth. Where did that come from? McNown sets. Drills it, has it complete. Farmer again, and now here's a flag.
It's a late flag too, but nice job by number 87, Danny Farmer. It's probably going to be a hold on Miami. He gave a double move here. Unless they're going to get him for pushing off.
No, it's holding against Miami, as you suggested.
Boy, nice job. Just a nice route by Danny Farmer. You're going to see him working against Leonard Myers, who is hurt. Tries to work up the football field, being held. Breaks on the out, and his size is a problem for Leonard Myers.
No question. That's what I meant with Polly Dixon is 6'5", he's 6'4". They don't really have any small receivers, which is difficult for teams that play defensive backs that are 5'10", 5'9", and in that vicinity.
More and more teams, and I don't know where they're coming from, but maybe the basketball court, but more receivers over 6'3", 6'4" than any time.
How about the volleyball team?
And the volleyball team, too.
Deshaun Foster. That's Morgan, who will wrap him up and make the stop at around the 30. As we go under 10 minutes left to play in our ball game, UCLA with a 3-point lead, 38-35.
Foster's run, gain 6. Second down, 4. 30-yard line.
Bill Miller, the defensive coordinator, continues to rotate his linemen, trying to get them a breather so that they don't have to go the distance. Adrian Wilson just came out of the ball game. Lewis comes back in. Deshaun Foster, head-high tackle by Michael Smith will stop that run immediately, and it's going to be a third down.
On Michael Smith.
Ron, when you look at the third down conversions in the first and fourth quarter by UCLA, in the first quarter it's 56%. In the fourth quarter it's 49%, almost 49%, which means they get off to a great start and they finish the football game. Now they're faced with a third down. Let's see if they can convert it.
Line to make the 26. McNown under pressure, gets his pass complete to his tight end Mike Grieve.
Grieve, I'd say. You just talk about an effort by a tight end in this football game. He's a senior, 6'4", 248 pounds, and his presence has been noticed in this ball game. He's strong. He had 11 receptions coming in this football game, and he's been a big part of this offense.
Pitches to Foster. Deshaun waits for the block, then puts the head down, still spinning. And let's go inside the 20 and now down to the 15. Edward Reed makes the stop on him. I think Foster looks more as though the cobwebs are gone now because he didn't run in the second quarter after he got his head bopped. And here's a quick snap, and the ball goes back to Deshaun Foster. They tried the quick play back in the first half, and he is still on his feet inside the 10-yard line. And that is enough for the UCLA first down.
That's heads-up play by Cade McNown. You set that up, and you watch the defensive team get out of the huddle, and they get out slow, and they're dragging a little bit. And all of a sudden, you hit them with this quick play, and you try to get around the corners, what you try to do. You try to outnumber them on the outside. Deshaun Foster just picks up good yardage for the first down. Texas A&M, when Bob Toledo was down there, they used to run that play a couple times this season.
Now a timeout has been called by Miami, and we will take it with them. 7:56 left in the ball game. UCLA by 3. We'll be back after this.
I'm a CEO. I'm an engineer.
I'm a student.
We needed a server-based network. Powerful workstations.
The notebook with DVD.
For 16,000 people. But what I wanted...
What I needed.
I couldn't find. Then Dell came to see me.
So I called Dell. I went to Dell on the internet.
And they built it. And they built it.
Just for me.
Just for us.
And amazingly enough...
This direct way actually costs less.
That's
genius.
Be direct. Dell. Dell computers use Intel Pentium 2 processors.
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage. And if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
During the holidays, everybody's got a million stops to make. Better make your first one at the Napa Holiday Event. We've got everything on your list, like a sturdy folding workbench, a handy all-cut tool that'll cut through just about anything, and a Napa 14-piece screwdriver set with a free utility knife. Napa, over 200,000 parts, and everyone's important.
The top rushers in college football have all won the Heisman. Will Ricky Williams take his place in history? The Heisman Trophy Award Presentation Show, Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN.
UCLA leads, but Miami is hanging on. And coming up after this game, the PGA and LPGA Tour is teamed up for the J.C. Penney Classic. Third-round coverage is coming up from Palm Harbor, Florida, as soon as we finish here in Miami. Oh, what a marvelous day. We had rain early this morning here in Miami, and it just, the winds came in, kind of blew those clouds out. Super comfortable day. Here comes the blitz. Ball was never snapped. Or McNown did get the snap and go back on one knee.
When the Miami players crossed the neutral zone, the center snapped the football.
Who is, once again, Sean Stewart. He was shaken up and came back in about 3 or 4 plays ago.
Dead ball, offside, this is defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal, remains first down.
Demond Lewis, sophomore out of Sulphur Springs, Texas, is the guy who jumped offside. Deshaun Foster runs into his blocker, who is Craig Walendi, the fullback, and Michael Lawson will make the stop on him.
Kansas State up quickly against A&M. And maybe we can get into some BCS talk here.
Well, it's a huge day. There's no question about that. And, you know, 24 hours from now, there'll be 2 teams headed for Tempe. And obviously, we don't know who they are yet. 13th play of the drive. UCLA. Foster to the right side. Breaks off one tackle. Dives for the end zone, and he won't get in. As Edward Reed is the man down on bottom making the tackle on him.
You like that effort, Ron. He tried to get that football across the end line there. Deshaun Foster showing a lot of awareness as a freshman running back. It's on the hip of the offensive lineman, Andy Myers, and reaches out
And there's a timeout called with 7 minutes left in the ball game, so we've got a commercial coming. UCLA by 3. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila with the Craftsman. Making plans for the holidays? Don't forget Sonny's Barbecue. There's nothing like a Sonny's whole smoked turkey and all our country fixins to fill up that holiday table. And don't forget Sonny's Catering. We make any size family get-together or office party easy, affordable, and delicious. Just call Sonny's today and have yourself a yummy holiday.
When we set out to build the world's best ATV, we chose our role model carefully. The new Big Bear and Big Bear 4x4 from Yamaha. Because out here, bears rule.
Easy Living Yamaha is your four-wheeler dealer.
Where Chris Lee and Kirk celebrate the nation's most outstanding performers. The Home Depot 1998 College Football Awards Show. Thursday at 8 on ESPN2.
The world's best golfers meet down under as America defends its President's Cup title. The President's Cup begins Thursday at 4 and 8:30 on ESPN.
UCLA by 3, and they are back at the line of scrimmage. They're trying to shove this one in to make it a 10-point margin again. It's 3rd down, and you see how close that football is. The left defensive end looks as though he was lined up offside, doesn't he? McNown fakes the run, going to try to carry it into the end zone, and he will. Total yardage for both of these teams, almost 2/3 of a mile in this one.
Excellent call here, Ron. Cade McNown, a lot of confidence in your senior quarterback. Good fake to Deshaun Foster, and Foster really sold it because he went over the top without the football. Edward Reed trying to chase Cade McNown, but he shows you the speed that he has. Foster over the top.
Saylor with the extra point attempt. He's got it. And with 6:54 to play in the ballgame, our new score is UCLA 45 and Miami 35. Do the Hurricanes have another answer? We'll find out when we come back.
My name is Jim, and I am the beer man, and I'm proud to sell this Coors Light. So please do not call me beer dude. Don't yell beer jockey, barley boy, or suds buddy, and I'll be happy to pour you a frost brewed Coors Light. Stay away from Brew Brother, Captain Cup, and Sir Pour-A-Lot, and you'll get your Rocky Mountain refreshment faster than you could say Lager Lugger. I am Beer Man.
Hey, Beer Stud.
I'm here with activist Stan Roach in the direct path of today's off-road event. Stan, the obvious question. Why?
This forest is the home of the endangered black bear, not a playground for trucks. Its habitat must be protected from the... It's a bear! What? Run! Run! Where are you going? Guys, I'm still chained to the tree.
Test drive off-road 2. No roads, no rules.
What horrible, horrible irony.
This holiday season, McDonald's is celebrating Disney and Pixar's A Bug's Life with a special apple cinnamon dipping sauce for our Chicken McNuggets. There's no...
Heimlich! Look what you've done!
I was hungry!
How am I gonna get us out of this one?
Who said there's nothing good on TV?
For McNuggets and fun this holiday season, did somebody say McDonald's?
Welcome back. Larry Beal in the studio. This is Championship Saturday, both on ESPN and on ABC. UCLA trying to take care of business. Over on ABC right now, Kansas State trying to do the same against Texas A&M. It's 3-0 so far, but K-State is driving, and A&M's quarterback, Randy McCown, just limped off the field, so trouble for the Aggies early on. Back to you, Ron.
All righty. Great day just to let college football take you on into the night, and we've had a good start here. And it looks as though they're having a good one there in the Big 12 championship.
Just sit back in the rocker.
Or a straight chair for bad back people. I mean, hey. Davenport, one of the deep men, is looking. Chris Saylor stands by to kick it off, this time into the wind. On the run at the 17-yard line. And out of the 30 is Darrell Jones. Well, after the conclusion of the Big 12 Championship, ABC Sports will also bring you the SEC Championship game presented by Dr. Pepper. Mississippi State taking on T. Martin and the second-ranked Tennessee Volunteers from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Game time is 8 o'clock on ABC.
Tennessee team has developed a great team chemistry this year.
Fearless Price, probably the most underrated of all wide receivers in this country, wouldn't you say?
I'd say he's one of them.
Here they come. They set the reverse. Santana Moss, and he picks up a block. And now steps out of bounds after he got everything he could up at the 40.
You have the block by 77. Robert Hall gives you a lookout block right here. What you do is just yell look out before you hit him. What Robert Hall does is blocks inside and then peels back outside. You're going to watch him peel back out. Now here's the lookout block right there. A nice job on Aziz. Well-designed reverse by Larry Coker, the offensive coordinator.
Culture in motion. They roll the pocket that way. They lead their tight ends in the block and downfield on the pass. It hit the defensive back, Marquise Anderson, in the back. A flag comes down at the 20. Andre King was the defending or the intended receiver.
Marquise Anderson had a tough time in the first half. Andre King gets behind him.
He almost caught that thing behind his back. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Talk about concentration. Yeah. And Marquise is still trying to figure out what's going on.
15 yards. Assess the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So the automatic first down, and the penalty takes it just inside the 45-yard line. 6 minutes, 32 seconds to play. 10-point UCLA lead, and the Hurricanes inside the Bruin 50 again. James cutting, twisting, turning inside the 30-yard line, and Santi Hall makes the stop. 14 yards in the carry. He's got to be getting close to 300 yards.
Just again, good moves in the hole. He's always trying to cut on the move. Excellent vision, trying to find his blockers and getting in the secondary. Just gets a nice hole right there. Nice block by Nick Williams. Damon Neely.
You could see he just was barely tackled with a shoestring. Yep. And now a timeout called by Miami to stop the clock at 6:15. So the Hurricanes will have only one left. Edgerrin James does have over 300 yards now, a new career high. And what we said, 2 more carries and he ties. 39 was the record for the most carries in a ball game by a Miami Hurricane. That was Otis Armstrong.
Otis Anderson. He should get to 2. He should get it on his drive.
Now let's check in with Larry Beal quickly.
All right, Ron. Big 12 title game underway on ABC. Michael Bishop. Looks like a little option here, and he drops back to pass out of it to Justin Swift. And just that quickly, it's 10-0 Kansas State. First quarter.
Bob Toledo was interesting last night. Mike, we asked him the same thing about, what is enough as far as points, and he said, I
don't know.
He said, I don't know, and I'm not coming into this game thinking that, we have to score X number of points or win by X number of points.
Now, that's the concern of all the coaches that are involved in this playoff-type situation this weekend.
open. They throw it to him, and Fulcher will score. He's been a blocker all day long, and this time they moved him in motion and slid him out into the pattern.
Well, they're making it interesting, Ron. Both tight ends were really open. Fulcher and Franks a little shorter on the route, but a nice call by Butch Davis and his offensive staff to get Miami right back in this game.
Extra point at Camp Crossland is good. 6:08 to play. Bob Toledo probably saying, I couldn't live down here. The clock moved too slowly. We'll be right back.
Well, my first tattoo was mostly my whole back. So.
And that was his second?
This is my second, yeah. I don't know. It's friendship tattoos in Tibet. And
yeah. I mean, we really don't. I mean, we don't know how to read Tibetan.
Hope it
or
says
anything
friendship.
like that. Yeah. It might not even say friendship. But basically,
we have some vicious fights, though.
Yeah, but most friends do. Right?
Hi, I'm Doug Flutie, pro football player and father of an autistic child. A lot of people buy Flutie Flakes because a portion of the proceeds go to help autistic children. But there's another way you can help. Dial 1010-220 when you call long distance. You can talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents. And every time you use it, a donation will be made to the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation. So dial 1010-220, talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, and help some great kids at the same time. It's a win-win situation. I wish football was this easy.
When you talk to your kids about drugs, they get the message. You care about them. Start the conversation today. Talk, listen, stay involved.
6:08 to play. 3-point game. UCLA leading. They were up by 10 just a moment ago. I was about to make the comment that Fulcher has been very patient today. He's been a blocker all day long. And, boy, they decoyed with him. And like you said, both tight ends wound up being open. Look at this. Both teams over 600 yards on the ball game. Another great ball game down here that ended up 47-45. Remember that one? Rock going to be tackled as he crossed the 25. That was the Doug Flutie game. BC and Miami.
Good job right here by Scott Covington. Finds Fulcher and wide open there. Everything went with the run. Again, the presence of Edgerrin James has such an effect on UCLA's defense.
No, but the guy's got 303 yards. He's got to get your attention. So Cade McNown, and this man has been a magician for a long time, and it's time for him to step back up. See if he's got something in that magic wand that can push it back to a 10-point margin. 22 of 28 for 453 for McNown. And they'll keep it on the ground. Jermaine Lewis going to be stopped shy of the 30 by Michael Smith. Well, coming up after this game, the PGA and the LPGA Tour has teamed up for the J.C. Penney Classic. Third-round coverage is coming up from Palm Harbor, Florida, as soon as we are finished here in Miami.
Take every second now if you're UCLA. Run that clock down before you run the play, but this is an offensive football team. It's got to move the football. The defense not playing well today.
Big hit by Quincy Hips. And now it is third down and going to be about 8. Now, the go-to guy in this situation, particularly in this half, they have looked up and tried to find Danny Farmer.
They've had success. We talked about their third down conversions. 7 out of 11.
Line to make, the 37. McNown sets in the pocket. Got it across the middle, and it is Ryan Wilkins, a sophomore out of Yorba Linda, who has not played that much today, and they sneak him open over the middle.
Such a quick release, Ron, by Cade McNown. Ryan Wilkins just hooking over the middle at the sticks, and the quick release by Cade McNown. And on the other side, Danny Farmer They're going to make sure they take some licks on him. Al Blades comes over and knocks him down, so make sure he's not going to be the receiver.
So you're getting it right between the two linebackers, Mack and Morgan. Grebe in motion, Jermaine Lewis. Little jitterbug step, and again, it's Dan Morgan who's down at the bottom of that stack, along with number 92, Damone Lewis.
Now the clock becomes a factor for Miami, Ron, because they only have one timeout left. They burn a couple timeouts early.
Polly Dixon, problems with some cramping on the sideline as we go under 4 minutes to play. UCLA 45, Miami 42. Will the Bruins hold on? And is 3 points enough to project them into the national championship game in Tempe, Arizona? McNown going long, and guess who? It's Farmer. And it is taken away and almost intercepted by Leonard Myers.
Underthrew the ball. Dave McNown couldn't get under it. Couldn't get enough under his feet to throw this football deep enough. Danny Farmer had a shot at it, but Leonard Myers took it away. Caused the incompletion. See, just does, he throws across his body because the pressure of Dan Morgan. Look at that adjustment by Danny Farmer. Trying to jump ball here with Leonard Myers.
Myers tipped the ball. Watch here. At the last second, will tip it. And then it hit him in the stomach, and then he took it away from him. Third down, and they need to take it across midfield to the 48. McNown got him over the middle at the 35-yard line, and still on his feet is Brad Melsby. The ball came loose with the play dead. First down, Miami. 2 turnovers, UCLA. And Bob Toledo is all the way out on the field at the 40.
The thoughts that's going through Bob Toledo's mind is he's traveled a long way for this ball game, and he has Big East officials. Let's watch the play.
Ball is still in. It is still in. And the ball, well, we'll have to go back and slow it down to see if his knee was on the ground or not. The officials say it was not. James takes it right up the middle. Has 5, has 10. He has 15 and now 17 yards. Davenport, I beg your pardon, not James. And a gain of 17. And the way the running backs are carrying the football, you don't really need to throw it.
No, and they've got enough time with 3:16 left to go on the clock. Let's see the play again.
His knee's down. And then the ball came out. His right knee was on. Should have been UCLA ball.
Well, they've got to come up with a defensive stand now. Edgerrin James back in the ball game.
Bolter in motion. Now they roll the pocket. Oh, he's got Jones wide open, and he throws over on the sideline and connects with King. Santana Moss also had curled down at the 40, and he was loose.
Scott Covington, Ron, we talked about having a quiet third quarter, but he's come on here in the fourth quarter. He threw a dart to Andre King.
Clock shows 2 minutes and 52 seconds to play. James, no place to go to the right. Tries to right his situation, and he's going to wind up losing yardage back to the 45.
And Aziz made the play, Ron.
Now, the difference here, Mike, because of the retreat, it's going to wind up being third down and about 7 yards to go, where they had a second down and 2.
Yeah, what Edgerrin James was trying to do is cut back, and they made him move laterally across the line of scrimmage. A mistake by Edgerrin James, the only one he's made today.
UCLA's defense known for getting turnovers. They have not been able to today. 2:10, now 2:09 to play. Covington with a third down, rolls the pocket, got a man open, and has it complete at the 36-yard line to Andre King.
Too much of a cushion by Ryan Rock, number 33. Everything at stake in this last 2 minutes for the UCLA Bruins.
Who's going to the Rose Bowl? Is it going to be these guys right here from Arizona? Well, if UCLA makes it into the BCS championship game at Tempe, that is the case. But if UCLA loses here, different scenario. Davenport in the game at tailback. Pass thrown, got it complete at the 25, and that is tight end David Franks. We talked about in the first half, they're a very tight end-oriented team, and not until the second half have they really utilized them.
No, and Larry Atkins ran with a nice tackle. He was right there, just didn't make the play. Glue that keeps the defense together.
47-45.
Now the clock becomes the enemy of UCLA. They still have 2 timeouts left, Ron.
Davenport, the tailback again. Clock runs at 1:36. Now 1:35. The give goes to Davenport. Cuts it to the left. Has 5. Has 10. And it's going to be downed at the, they call it the 15-yard line. So actually it's a 9-yard carry. Not quite 10 as Tony White made the tackle. But the thing that Butch Davis is looking at, he wants to score, but he wants no time left on that clock. No, he don't want to see Cade McNown again.
And UCLA still has the 2 timeouts, but they're in such a predicament because you rip off 9 yards on first down.
Second and short. Covington to throw on second down. Got it out in the flat. This is the fullback, Williams, and out of bounds just before the goal line. UCLA might have been better off if he scored.
Well, now they've got to use their timeouts now. They've got to save some time on the clock for Cade McNown. Nick Williams out of the backfield. Linebacker trying to get to him. Doesn't make the play. Looked like he was in the end zone.
Tony White will make the tackle, and they say his foot stepped on the line at the 1. First and goal, Miami. James, left side, touchdown Miami. Right now. And on the UCLA sideline, some long looks as Crossland tries to make it and does a 4-point Miami lead.
Ron, best thing that happened to UCLA is they scored quick, so that they still got 50 seconds and 2 timeouts for Cade McNown to work with.
Look at that graphic on streaks ended by Miami. An 89, a 23 winner by Notre Dame, 22 by Nebraska at 84. Oklahoma, it ended in 88 at 20. And then Florida State twice, 16 and 14. And a reminder that UCLA led 38 to 21 with 1:28 showing on the clock in the third quarter, Mike Gottfried.
And Ron, the biggest play was the fumble by Brad Melsby, and whether or not his knee was down. Right knee's down.
The right knee is down. And I know it's a bang-bang play and very difficult for the officials to see, but on that play right there, we could be with 2 undefeated teams rather than 3 going into tomorrow. 50 seconds left for this man. He has pulled magic many times before, and he's going to be called on this Saturday afternoon in the Orange Bowl in Miami to do it again if his club has a chance to go to Tempe.
What an effort by this Miami football team coming off that shellacking by Syracuse.
No question. Kick is taken at the 22-yard line. Caldwell out of the 40, still going, and now to the 45-yard line. 42 seconds left. 2 timeouts for UCLA.
Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, a lot of time for Cade McNown.
Look at these drives. 1 under 1 minute, 1 under 3 minutes, or 3 under 3 minutes, and 2 under 3 minutes, or 3 minutes plus. Pressure on McNown. Gets it out in the flat. Deshaun Foster going to be hit. Stays in the field of play. Needs to get out of bounds, and he does. Stopping the clock. And he goes out at the 43, and there's 31 seconds on the clock.
Ron, this is why the college rule of stopping the clock first downs is going to help Cade McNown in this drive. Still has 31 seconds to go. And you almost think, Ron, eventually Danny Farmer is going to be the guy to get loose in the secondary if they're going to win this football game.
I am Badejo. Hands on his knees across the way, injured back in the first quarter. McNown, 25 of 32, 507 yards and 5 touchdowns. Drills it again, and it's a hook and ladder. They lateral it back to Foster. Melsby to Foster, but Miami had closed it so close to the sideline, he had no place to go with it.
No, and it stops the clock because they threw the ball into the sideline. Melsby's going to make the catch. Contact with Marquise Fitzgerald. Now he pitches the ball. Very fortunate that Foster caught that with one hand and got out of bounds. Still a lot of time for UCLA.
24 seconds left in our ball game. Jermaine Lewis is now the tailback. Flag is down across the way, and he throws the ball short. 19 seconds left.
Offside Miami.
That may be enough for the first down. In fact, I think it is.
Still cost him 5 seconds, though.
Yeah, that's not a good exchange. Butch Davis would go with that for the next 19.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Brian Poley-Dixon, Danny Farmer, they've been there all day for Cade McNown.
Golf coming up next, but for these guys, they want a trip to Tempe to be coming up next. 1st and 10, but the most important thing, 19 seconds showing on the clock. Miami leads it by 4. McNown under pressure. Now he's going to run out of it, and he's going to have to run the football and get out of bounds, and that cost him 8 more seconds. Only 11 left in the ball game, and give hats off to the secondary of Miami and also the push from the defensive line.
Playing very deep, Ron. They're going to give McNown the throw underneath, but they're not going to give him anything deep here. Just couldn't find anybody open.
Second down, 7, and 29.
Well, the Rose Bowl is on the line for them. 11 seconds will tell the story. McNown under pressure. Hit as he throws, and almost intercepted by Dan Morgan. Oh my goodness, there are 4 seconds left in the ball game. And it was Burrow, Michael Burrow, the junior from North Miami Beach, with the pressure.
Ron, it's going to come down to one Hail Mary for Cade McNown to throw the ball in the end zone. Good pressure by Derek Ham. Mike Burrow, number 93, putting pressure on Cade McNown. Now you talk about jump balls. Danny Farmer's played a lot of volleyball, but he may have to go up for this one.
All right, let's see. 4 seconds left in the ball game. Miami by 4. This is it. McNown for the end zone. He's got a man there, and it is overthrown. Drew Bennett, the backup quarterback, the intended receiver, and the win streak by the UCLA Bruins has been halted. Toledo has to be absolutely brokenhearted after what a season this year, and to come here to Miami and face a team that how many times have you seen a club that got thrashed the way Miami did last week? And you know they've got good athletes, and they're not really undermanned, they're not real deep, but they have the capability. And my gosh, this is as much heart as I've seen. Let's go down to the field and Adrian Karsten.
Well, Coach, you may not have been playing for the national championship, but I think you just decided the game. Congratulations.
Oh, Adrian, thank you. Great courage by this group of kids for 10 months. I've never been so proud of a group of guys, the way they fought through adversity all year long. This game, what a great job our guys did today. I'm proud of every one of them.
Down by 10, down by 3, down by 10, down by 3, up
Didn't
by
matter.
4. You learned a lot about their
quit. We came to win the game. We weren't going to quit today.
Ron, you talk about great efforts out of this Miami football team, and Butch Davis's coaching staff rallied a team that got drilled in Syracuse and brought them back here, and they won a big, big football game here today.
Hats off to so many people, but Edgerrin James, we certainly have to mention him. He set a Hurricane record. Most carries he equaled at 39 of Otis Anderson. That was against Florida in 1979. The most rushing yards, 304. That was owned by James. He broke his own record. So, total yards in the game, UCLA 670 and Miami 689. So our final score, Miami shocks UCLA